What will we be talking today is about stepping into your power, how to claim your seat as a creator of your own life. This is a very important topic that I feel like everybody should learn. It's so important to know what you hold in this universe and how you can expand that out to create happiness, good health, wealth, good relationships, and really taking the journey of healing yourself. So, we are going to get right into it. Jeannie, did you want to add anything to this beginning or are we going to hop in?
Man, let's get into it. We got a great class for y'all. We got the five key areas of surrender, spiritual power, spiritual protection, spiritual connection, and spiritual purpose. So we got it all for y'all. Let's get into
Mhm.
it. So,
So, our first one here, understanding and developing your spiritual connection. Good, Jeannie. Sorry, I'm like very giddy, guys. Like, I'm like getting tapped into some shit. This is what happens.
yeah, we were very
If you know
excited
me
for
by now, you.
we were very excited for this class, yo. So, understanding and developing your spiritual connection. I do want to talk about like what our spirit is and what that connection actually is because that's very important to understand. Like what people call spirit, they're referring to the universal consciousness and the life energy which actually keeps us all which actually keeps us all alive and the whole entire universe alive. And our soul is a part of that energy. So our soul is an individual piece of that energy and of that consciousness, meaning that inside of ourselves, we literally hold the energy of all the universe. And people don't always realize that. Like when you're connected to your soul, you're connected to what they call God. When people talk about God, the creator, sustainer of reality, that's literally spirit, this consciousness and this life energy, which you are a part of. So we need to really talk about that and understand our connection to our soul, truly.
Hmm. Absolutely. I think you pretty much nailed it there. I think something they also like want me to bring to the table is about how it works in like the everyday. Because I know even just with probably hearing that, if you're new to this, that can be just very overwhelming. And we just want you to be clear that your connection to the universe and everything around you happens already every day in your life. It's just about your own interpretation. So, what we're doing here is we are guiding you through our interpretations, the ways that we have connected ourselves, but we fully encourage you to step into your zone of figuring out that connection for yourself. We're just giving you the nuggets to activate that within you. So that's something that we kind of wanted to say here. But yeah.
Yeah, that's very important. Our souls are like so deep. And I do want to talk about like one of the best ways of connecting with your soul because like there's many different practices and not every practice is for every single person. So, one practice is meditation, but the reason why that works is because when we dive into our soul, right? Our soul is an observer. It observes all of life. But then we also have the ego, the personality, the part that expresses itself, the part that thinks and feels and acts out and everything like that. And our soul and our ego are actually pretty different because when we go along life and we like experience all those like undesirable emotions and like those more low vibrational thoughts and stuff like that, that's always our personality. Our soul just observes that. It's completely detached from that. And with meditation, one of the main ways to meditate is by focusing on your breath, simply just observing your breath. And that will always get you into with your soul because your soul is the observer. Like inside of your life, your personality always changes. Like when you're 5 years old, you act one way. When you're 15, you act a different way. But the party that always stays the same is your soul, the part that's observing all these experiences. So when you understand that, you're like, oh, like yes, certain things happen, but I could take a step back and get a higher perspective upon this. And when you zoom out to gain that perspective, you truly see like why things happen. You can actually appreciate life way more for what it's showing you. Like, actually, yo, Gabby told me a great example about how she did this inside of her own life, literally like 5 minutes before this call, bro. So like, I don't know if you want to share that, but if you would, I think that would be great for them to hear.
What
About
was the word? Oh, arrogance. Is that the
Yep.
one that we're talking about?
Yep. You
Okay.
already know.
So yesterday I was I was playing a video game and I was just typing in chat and I was just wishing everybody well, love and patience, and because everybody was like going at each other's throat. And somebody messaged me and they said, "You are arrogant." And I was like, "You must have the wrong person," just immediately going into that state. And they're like, "No, I have the right person." They put a heart. And it made me sit back and I was like, well, this is very direct. And I feel like I need to look at this a little bit further. So I defined what arrogant meant. And I had seen in some ways where I have been arrogant in my life, where I have been arrogant with people and, being raised around people who were arrogant. And it put into perspective a new, somewhere where I could put a box where I identify it in my life. So with me identifying that now, I can then kind of be like, okay, well, that doesn't serve me anymore. I don't want to be arrogant. And now that it's defined, I can move forward in making that change. So, Jeannie was even talking about, that's really hard for people because when we look at these traits about ourselves, we're the first ones to judge ourselves when this is about the human experience. Like we all have been arrogant at some time. We all have gone through certain emotions that are just, they can be icky, but they can be changed. I think that is the word there, changed, which is so important. And I find that with humans, we have trouble with change. But yet we're always changing. Nature is always changing and we are nature. So when you open yourself up to being able to allow change to come through you, around you, things become a lot easier. Your soul is able to experience what it's here to experience. And I find that the ego is the part that tries to keep you outside of change. It's the one that tries to tell you, you can't do this, you're too good for that. And it'll just continue feeding you narratives that will give you further and further from your soul's purpose.
Yeah, that is so true. And it like she said, I was telling her like, yeah, that's really hard because like, yo, when people say these things, you're just like, no, I'm not. They just want to go in. But when you can really zoom out and be like, you know what? I I, I could exhibit that sometimes. You give yourself that compassion because you don't got to be perfect. Like building a spiritual connection is never about being perfect. It's about simply getting into what your true is. Have some slip ups real quick, but it's about how good you are at being able to step back and be like, you know what? That was a mistake. I could
Hmm.
change that. And then also, you shouldn't even always be attached to the mistakes because once again, the one who even does like all the quote unquote mistakes, that's really just the ego. Your soul just observes that. So everything's a simple learning experience. Only you judge it as that's a mistake. That was wrong. That was good. That was bad. Your soul just sees it and says, it just is. And then from there, it could choose. How do I want to see it? Do I want to make it good? Do I want to make it bad? That becomes completely up to you. And that's actually part of your power, which you're going to talk about way more. Being able to literally just control the narrative. Like, people will feed you
Hmm.
narratives all the time. You will feed yourself narratives all the time. But how well are you able, like, how good are you at detaching from those narratives? And also understand that with spiritual connection, right? You don't always gotta be just meditating in the mountains all day because when you like simply just feel happy and you feel that energetic, you're just like, yo, I want to do this and do that. You're connected right there. Like having a
Hmm.
connection to your soul is so natural for us. Like it's not this crazy spiritual gotta astral project and then I gotta talk to God face to face. Like, no. Like when you just feel good and happy, that's the connection right there. Like your feelings literally tell you, oh, you're connected. Oh, you may not be as connected because like when you get mad, right? And this doesn't mean that when you get mad that you should be like, oh, I got mad and I messed up. No, what I'm saying is when you get mad, right? Oftentimes that show you that you're not perceiving this in the most accurate way. The way that you're perceiving it is what is literally causing the emotion. So you can actually sit back and be like, oh, this emotion is anger. I don't want to feel that. I could choose this other one. What does the more good, love, understanding one feel like? And it don't always got to be weak. You could just understand and be like, damn, okay, I understand why that happened. It may not make it okay, but I get why it happened. And because I understand that, I don't have to react to it. I can actually control how I move around this situation. So make sure you have compassion for yourself at all times. And also just remember that whenever you feel happy, you're naturally connected. If you can't like wake up and have that natural joy in life, that might tell you that you're doing some things that are disconnecting you, which is okay. Just recognize that and then find out how to solve that and then put those things inside of your life which really do align with your soul. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think too, I'm being guided to share some examples of how in just your everyday life you are connected to spirit. Being connected to spirit is walking outside and feeling the wind on your face. It is feeling the grass in between your toes. It is that person coming up to you and saying, "Hey, I like that dress that you're wearing." Like spirit is constantly talking. It's that thing on your Instagram that is speaking right to you and you're like, "Hey, I can relate to that. I needed that today." Spirit is always speaking to you. It is always trying to connect to you. And it's really honestly your own self emanating these scenarios to try to get you connected to your inner self, which is kind of interesting because it's like yourself is giving you hints throughout the day of like, hey, this is what it is. It's a game. Like it's honestly so incredibly fun when you make it that way. Like when I see numbers, I started seeing angel numbers and I was into that, and then all of a sudden now I'm to a different level where they're like, add the numbers, make them lower, and I'm getting different messages because of that. Like if you just start small in the things that you see, oh, a bird passed by, it's a cardinal. Oh, that reminds me of my ancestor coming through. Like you'll start to connect these things to your life. And then the more that you are standing firm in that, and I know it's really hard because when you're first connecting to spirit, it's very weird. It's awkward. It's going to be, okay? Like, it's like, what am I doing? Am I a loony? Because that's what they tell you. That's what they've made you feel like. But this is the natural way of a human being. Like we all have these capabilities. Like there's not one of us that doesn't have it. It's about if we choose to utilize it or not. So I want to make that clear on how that is a choice for you. But the way you're going to integrate yourself into this lifestyle of yours of walking the path of yourself and your soul's purpose, it's going to be uncomfortable, but that's how you know that you're doing it right. And like, I want to make that very clear. When you are uncomfortable, it is right. And they used to teach you when you are uncomfortable, that is wrong. No, you are supposed to go into a state of being where you're lost. You don't know where you're going. That means that you are turning into a new version of yourself and there are new things that you are stepping into. That is good news. So it just is about patience, persistency, consistency. And you can't just like, it goes back to compassion too. Like you have to take your time with it, which is a beautiful thing. I think the journey is lifelong and there's always things that you can do with this experience. It's about if you choose that or not. They keep wanting me to say choose. Today is about choice. It's choice.
Yeah, and that's actually really powerful because you really do always have a choice. Like emotions and thoughts are a choice. Now, at first, it could be hard because like emotions could be very like instinctive and impulsive, so they do kind of just carry you. But you learn how to just slow down, be like, you know what? No, let me choose the other one. And I love how you brought up how, like, inside of your life, spirit's always talking to you. That is really just you talking to you because it's literally like a dream. Like people experience dreams all the time where they are inside of their own mind, but they have other people talking to them. But those other people are just aspects of your own mind as well. It's the same exact thing here. Like you, it's like you're living inside of a dream, and the greater mind is spirit, and you are just one of those characters inside spirit's mind. So everybody else is also you, and the dream is always showing you something. Like inside of your dreams, they're not always that random. Like I know sometimes you had a dream where a freaking mouse may have been attacking you and stuff like that. You're like, why did I have that dream? But let's really think about it. That's why the mouse is actually attacking you. You see, so it may seem random. I know the signs are kind of hard to see sometimes, but you start understanding that I'm always being shown something, and a part of seeing what you're being shown is simply just recognizing, you know what? Even though I may not understand what this is showing me, it is showing me something. Because if you keep on staying open to finding out why things happen, you will get more and more and more signs, just like in a dream. And inside of a dream, it's always a choice because How many times have you been inside of a dream and you're being chased? You're like, you know what? I'm just gonna wake up real quick. Cause that happens to me. I've been getting chased. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna wake up real quick. So you could choose to end the experience. Now I know you can't just check out of life, but what you can do is that let's say it's like a breakup. Okay, you could stay with the story of, oh, that person really hurt me, that person wasted my time, they did all this, or you could just leave that dream, leave that perception and enter a new one. You know what? This relationship did not work out, but I learned so much about myself and other people. I learned what I really do want and what I really don't want. This was not a waste of time because if you never had this person, you would never know what you really wanted. And if you guys never broke up, you could have actually stayed with that person long term and never got what you could have fully experienced had you know what you really wanted. So the breakup actually shows you a lot, and it's your choice to be like, oh, this person wasted my time, or oh, this person taught me a lot, even if they didn't do the best things. So that's actually really important. And something else too, when you said like, I remember when you was telling me how like when you be washing the dishes and stuff like that, you just take time to appreciate spirit. That is so facts because you can literally connect that any time of the day. And when she told me that, yo, I tried that. I was what because I hate washing dishes the same way that she did. I hate it so much. So I start washing the dishes. I'm like, you know what, bro? Gabby said when she does this, she takes time to just appreciate life. The fact that she even has water and utensils. I'm washing this fork like, dang. I'm happy. Like, I'm really happy I could use that fork to eat this broccoli real quick. Because people don't always got that. I ain't gonna lie. I got some, this
Mhm.
water is pretty warm. They don't always got warm water. This people, I've heard stories of people having to boil water on the stove to shower with that for hot water. I never had to go through that. And I'm very lucky for that. So, when I realized those things, it's kind of like, dang, how could I really complain for washing dishes when I have all these other amazing things inside of my life? And I get it, we don't always recognize that, but that's why we should start doing that. Just going outside and just seeing the sun. Oh my God, we have a sun that isn't completely burning us and killing us and destroying the ozone layer. Thank God. Oh my God, I can actually walk because I have legs. You know what I'm saying? People in Vietnam got their legs blown off.
Mhm.
And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. You know, so it's like there's so many things to be grateful for, and it's important to recognize those things inside of your life every day, even when you go through more. And you know what? Let me give you guys an example, right? I literally just had somebody in my life betray me literally the other day. And I could be all upset and stuff like that, but I'm like, you know what? That just showed me that I shouldn't be messing with that person. And I appreciate that they did that because what if I waited way in the future where stuff is way more important and they betray me in an even bigger way? You see what I'm saying? So I had to realize that. I'm like, you know what, bro? It's cool. I'm not gonna get mad at that. And I had to realize that. So take that time out to really just look around and see all the different spiritual aspects of life. I mean, just everything is spiritual, bro. Everything comes from the spiritual. Even a keyboard can be seen as spiritual because it came from that one energy that makes all of us. So even having a keyboard to type and make this class was something to appreciate because that could talk to all of you guys and we could share all our information, you know? So there's so much to appreciate, to
Mhm.
recognize in life and all this beauty, and we're always just being shown things. It's important to really see that in our lives way, way, way more.
Oh, yeah. That's so I love that because it's like it's the making life a moving prayer point. Like, and when you're able to do that with everything and every move that you do, it just becomes lighter. Like when you also understand that you're not alone, because even I experience this, and a lot of us do, because we've now grown up in a time where segregation, separation, technology, all these things have come in between, like tribes and unity. We like to make ourselves feel alone. And we like to just, say, nobody understands me. And like we're so quick to do that, but yet there's so many that understand you. That's the thing. Like it's complete opposite. Um, sorry, I'm trying to think where I was going with that because so sometimes that happens, guys, because now they're bringing me to do what makes you happy. Okay, so when it comes to doing what makes you happy, they also want you to understand that nobody is worth your happiness. I think that's something very important that we need to learn is that just because Jeannie does something a certain way doesn't mean I have to adopt that. Okay, that does not mean that his opinion of me dictates and I take that on. And okay, well, I'm not going to go skiing because Jeannie thinks that's dangerous and that's scary for his own personal experience. Okay, there's like so many times where we do that, where we take other people's validations, opinions, and then we utilize that in our own life. And then how many things has our soul actually been backed up on because we're too busy looking at somebody else's perspective?
Hmm.
So we really want to tell you that it is about your experience. There's nobody else. You are one of one. Literally, there is nobody else like you, and your wisdom that you carry is your wisdom. That is 100% Carfax approved. So walk around doing your thing. Like whoever, and he was talking about, somebody left and that was for his protection thing. It's the same thing. If someone doesn't appreciate the way that you show up and they don't like that, fine. Okay, because there's 10 other people that are going to love me. Like I don't have to sit here and make myself feel bad because somebody doesn't approve of me. So valuable. Like it's so divine. And when you start tapping into this connection with even yourself, you'll start to learn that. And then you won't be dealing with this shit no more. Like you will not be able to tolerate it. Like when it comes into my view, I literally cannot tolerate it. I would be like, no, no access. Cause I know intuitively and I know what my worth is. Okay, so we just like want to make that very clear. Like your happiness comes first above everyone, not your parents, not your boyfriend, not this, not that. No, no.
And everything she said right there, I think we could wrap up spiritual connection with that because yeah, we done hit all the points, and I think we all understand how important it is to like get into with who we are and not what other people say we should be. It's all about. And we would say it's all about us. That's not selfish. We're saying that because let's be so real. How can you serve other people if you don't even serve yourself? That doesn't really even make sense. So it's important to make things about
Mhm.
you because that's how you can make things about the world eventually later on once you're at that place in your life. So yeah, we could wrap it up with we could wrap up spiritual connection with that. Oh my God, let's go to the next topic.
I feel that. Oh, let's go.
We was kind of
All
talking
right, we
about
are at
this.
under.
My
We
fault.
probably were. It all be tying together, but it's like
Uh-huh.
super, super great. So we're at understanding and developing your spiritual power.
Yeah.
Want to start
So
us off?
yeah, I'm definitely happy to do that. So some of the things from the last like section about like really focusing on what you want for yourself, not what other people want, we're gonna get into that. Let me first talk about spiritual power though, right? So spiritual power is power that comes from your connection to spirit, it connects to your soul. So when you are connected to your soul, you naturally have an inherent power. That goes with the whole being able to choose what you think is good or bad, or being able to choose what you do opposed to what somebody else is watch you what doing what you want to do opposed to what somebody else wants you to do. This is what spiritual power really is because understand that, like I said before, this energy, spirit, is what makes up all reality. That is a super powerful energy. If you are truly connected with yourself, you truly do have a powerful energy through you. That's why you'll always feel just excited and happy and energetic. Like that's what the spiritual power comes from. And there's many times in our life where we sacrifice our power because instead of making a choice that we wanted, we succumbed to somebody else's choice. Even if like let's say that like somebody let's go back to somebody hurting you, right? Oftentimes when you think, "Oh my God, they hurt me and that was so bad," it's mainly because like even in society you get told that oh like when you have a breakup like you're probably like you weren't the best person and all this other stuff and like you don't always get told that breakups are okay. Like people are saying it nowadays, but it's not a common thing to say like oh your breakup was okay. You know what I'm saying? People don't always want to hear that, you know? So oftentimes the choices that we make to view things a certain kind of way comes from the outside world and how we've been taught to think. And part of taking your power back is being like, no, how do I want to think? You know what I'm saying? And there's so many ways to take your power back because like, for example, let's say somebody made you mad, right? you completely lost your cool. That is part of giving your power away because you chose to blow up on them and now you're feeding them your energy, you know? And that's okay because even if you did that in the past, you could sit down right now and go back to that experience and learn from it. And when you do that, even though you're not like physically there, that actually really is a form of time travel. Now, I'm not going to go fully to time travel. That's a whole different topic that can be very expounded upon in so many different ways. But on a simple level, when you do that, you're like, oh, I see that I didn't have to act that way. I could have acted this way. It's like you remade the choice. And then when it happens again, you don't play out the same exact cycle. Like you use the situation to take your power back from that. The power keeps on being spilled out when you keep on ruminating, like, oh my God, I wish I didn't act like that, or oh my God, they were so horrible, or when you just are having those thoughts, you're leaking out your power. You're not choosing the perspective that's aligned with your soul. So that's actually very important to understand. And I'll leave it at that, and I'll let you say what you gotta say, and I'll hop back in after.
Yeah, so a very strong one's coming through. And I just had to be very real with you guys. It is so selfish and a disservice of you not standing in your power. Okay. I was even told this the other day. I've had to deal with this too. If I am not sharing my gift, if I am not out here actively shining my light, it is a disservice and it is selfishness to myself. I am actively hurting myself. And power is that if you choose, because again, choice, it is all about that. And if you deliberately see yourself where you are now and you're like, well, I could change my life to be a happier, healthier person, but I'm just going to stay here. That's selfish. That's like not understanding your worth. And I want us to have compassion. Okay. That goes back to compassion because there's reasons why we've come to this mindset. There's reasons why we haven't taken these actions. But with having this awareness now, you are now aware. Each and one of you are aware in here. Now I have a choice. And I can change whatever it is I want to evolve in, expand in. And there is no excuse. The only person that's holding back is me. You know? And there's so many ways like with power, you know, we're constantly just handing it to this person, handing it to this. You're not good enough. Okay. You know, and it's just like, no, like you need to work on the inner voice of knowing your worthiness, what you bring, what is your power. And it's rough. Okay. Like I'm not going to sit here and act like it's easy. Again, it is repetition, you know, I'm telling myself in the mirror, wow, you are powerful. You know, and then my inside's like, no, you're not. And it's like, okay, I know you think that now, but over a period of time, you will know your power. And like, that's also then holding that in your mind. It's going to feel weird now, but okay, it'll be there.
Yes. Oh my God, that's amazing. And I do want to mention this too about we talked about compassion and stuff like that, right? I do want to talk about the power of love because I'm not gonna lie, like love gets such a bad rep because people see love as a passive emotion. But yo, love is what drives you to do so many things. Like literally, if you love somebody and they're getting attacked, your love for them makes you defend them. Literally, you know? When you love to do something inside of your life, you naturally want to do that all the time. So when you choose the perspective of having love for yourself and others, it's not always about, oh, I love others, so I just let them do whatever they want. It's like, no, I love myself, and I do care about others too. So when people act a certain kind of way, I won't just go crazy and just fight them off the rip unless I have to defend myself, maybe. But I'll understand like, okay, this person is acting a certain kind of way, and even though it's not okay, I don't have to completely go off on them. Now, I will distance myself from them because why not stay around that? But you just have that love to understand that, I don't need that. I don't need that, nor do I need to react to that because you reacting to that is also an act of, like I said, giving your power away. But when you have that love for yourself, you're like, you know what, bro? They're not even worth that reaction. Like, they have no control over how I truly feel about myself. I still love myself regardless. So that's actually really important to understand. And also it's important to understand that like inside of our lives, I spoke of this a bit earlier about how you kind of get taught to be down on yourself, right? And this goes back generations, like, because your parents got taught that from their parents. And shoot, like, for example, let's say that you had people way back in the past who were slaves. Imagine the mindset that gets passed on. Like that slavery mindset, you know what I'm saying? Even if they weren't slaves, people way back in the past got treated horribly, bro. If you were upper class, you got treated horribly. You were told to think down about yourself. So it's only just been like it's been getting passed down generation from generation
Mm-hmm.
from generation. So we're not saying it's gonna be easy to just overcome that, but we will say that you have the awareness now to overcome that, and you could be the change who's like, you know what? People always think like that. Let me not think like that. You can literally rewrite your life story because the story that you tell yourself about your life really does matter a lot. If you tell yourself, "I've never been good enough," all I do is fail. Nobody loves me. Imagine what kind of life you're gonna have. But I can understand why one would think that because you probably have experienced many times where you were like, "Oh, I wanted to do this, but it went this way and it didn't go the right way." But understand that when it went the wrong way, it's only wrong to your perception. You could rewrite that story. That will take your power back. That would take all those hurtful emotions back, all those low vibrational emotions. You'll take those back and say, you know what? No, that happened and that showed me a lot about myself. That happened and that taught me about life. So it's really important to know how to rewrite your life story, but then also like unplug from the things that happen around you. Like when you go to school for like let's say you go to school, right? You'll go to school and then people will like just be all in the same mindset and that could literally leak onto you. You could go back to the house and start thinking like them, you know, but you need to learn to be like, you know what, that's how they think, here's how I think. It always goes back to that choice. That's what spiritual power is all about because like I said, it's the power from your spirit and from your soul. Your soul is an observer. That observer could choose what it wants to experience. That's what our whole life is about, finding our whole entire life is about finding these choices to make in order to better evolve inside of our life, you know? Even when things like I said, like we keep on saying, when things don't always go the best, you know what I'm saying? It really is the choice of do I want evolution or do I want stagnation? You may not have chose to make the event happen per se, and really, we could talk about that because on a higher level, you probably actually did. Like inside of a dream, I mean, you say, I didn't want to attack myself, but you made the dream. So, hey, even inside this life when stuff happens, on a higher level, you kind of do put yourself through that. But even if you don't want to see it like that, you still have the choice of what you do from there. And part of life is literally seeing, okay, where do I have power at? Where can I make choice? Because some stuff, right? Some stuff you can't just change overnight. Like, oh, like let's say there's like a freaking like negative law that gets passed and stuff like that. Okay, you can't choose to be like, oh, we're just gonna make that law get out the way. But you can choose how that law affects you and how you react to that law and how you abide by that law. So with all that being said, there are certain things that you can't just change overnight. But you could always choose how you react to those things. You could always choose what kind of person you become as a result of those things. You could always choose to overcome those problems and see pretty much like, oh, even though I didn't really want this to happen, there's this thing over here that it's still cool. I could go over there and make something happen over here to the point where this over there doesn't really matter anymore. Like if you're somewhere where there's so many rules put on you, there's all this control put on you and stuff like that, you could start finding what choices to make to get out that situation and get into a new one. And it may take time, but even the time that it takes is all a lesson because who says it's gonna happen overnight? It doesn't really make sense to expect to go into first grade and know calculus. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta build up algebra 1, algebra 2. You gotta build that up. You know what I'm saying? You can't just go straight to calculus and all this other stuff. So with that being said, we need to understand that yeah, it may take time to get out those situations, but just those small steps are us finding our power, finding our choice, finding where we can actually make that change in our lives. So this is actually really important to understand, and that also deals with like knowing what like you truly want for yourself, because people will impose their will on you literally all the time. Oh, I think you should do this. Oh, I think it would be great if you did that. Oh, you're pretty good at this. You ever tried doing that? I mean, suggestions can be helpful, but it's about what we want. What do we want for ourselves? If people keep on imposing their beliefs onto us, it's time to be like, nope. I choose what I want. I choose my own story, and if I can't be in this environment without this person or this situation imposing its will on me, I gotta get out of there. I gotta find those right choices to make to actually get to where I want to be at. So I'll leave that right there.
Mhm. I love that. And the ancestors are like, thanks for talking about us. Like, they're like, hey, because that is so important to spiritual power. Like, I know personally in my practice, I work a lot with my lineage. Like, I was brought into a lineage that needs lots of help. Okay. So, like, I am constantly seeing where they were at. And you know, you have to come to a part too, like, because maybe you're like, well, I don't want to heal my ancestor stuff. When the aunt was alive, she was, you know, mean, or, you know, you could have something against them, but like, understand we also have to meet people where they're at.
Hmm.
Okay, we also have to like see their experience for what it is. I don't have to put judgment on it, and I can also heal and forgive in a way that's on my terms. That doesn't mean I can condone what they've done, right? Like, I can still move forward and understand that that blood runs through me. So, like, a part of your power is also understanding. I want to go into love because, you know, I was reading chat a little bit, you know, about love. You know, self love, it all starts with you. It is all your inner world. Like, you have to learn what love is to yourself. And it's so hard because our natural way of going about things is looking for love anywhere but us. You know, how many times have you been in a relationship and then, you know, it's like, oh, well, this is shitty, you know, after a while, because that love thing has gone away. And it's all because you can only love somebody as much as you love your damn self. Like,
Hmm.
it is that easy. And same with the other person. So if you're getting with somebody in that type of vibration, there's a max. But if we start in the house, we're the house, and we create that sturdiness, that security. It comes to us effortlessly. Like, I'm not even playing. Like, it matches and mirrors exactly what you think about yourself. And the universe will receive, like, give that to you, and you will receive. So if I don't love myself, that's exactly what I'm going to get. And I'm going to get people who abuse me, you know, in whatever way that means. You know, they could encourage me to belligerently drink, you know, like, there's a lot of things that go into self-love and how that's reflected through our relationships, because again, we are wired to look everywhere else but ourselves. But I really encourage you, when it's saying learn to unplug, for me that's also backing away from certain connections, going in your house, seeing what needs to be cleaned, right? What needs tending to. And, you know, that comes to emotions, because when you're tending to your house, you're going to find these emotions, and they're not, some of them aren't going to feel good. I'm going to be real with you. They're going to be sadness, anger, you know, hurt. And we actually have the time now to sit with those emotions that we've been constantly looking elsewhere to keep that suppressed. So understand, with this development of your power, you're going to have to filter through emotions. But it is fulfilling. Like, it is beautiful. That is my thing. Like, I love emotions. I love processing them, alchemizing them. And I'm telling you, if you just allow it to come through and you get your body used to being able to feel, being able to cry, being angry when you want to be angry, and like talking yourself through these steps, it becomes easier. And then you're not sitting there for months concerned about this, why Becky like did this to you. You know, because like that's what we do. It's like, when we don't know how to process emotion, we'll shove it down. We'll be like, I hate her. And then we have this hate in our body for 3 years down the line. I still hate her from high school. And it's like, why? And it's because we didn't process. We didn't validate, self-validate our emotion, which is so important. Yes, I'm allowed to be angry, but I'm not going to spend 3 years, 3 months, 2 weeks on that anger. I don't need to. That's a waste of my power. That's a waste of my energy. If anything, this is showing me and redirecting me to where I need to go. And, we'll be talking about surrender, right? And this kind of goes in with surrendering. It's surrendering to the fact that there is better for me. There is another door for me. It doesn't end with that person. It only begins into something new. It's the full card, you know? And I think that's like so beautiful with your power is you'll start to realize, okay, well, that person may not be worthy of my power anymore. That person may not be worthy of my energy. Oh, I'm being called to a new experience. And then when you start to look at life through this lens of it is always working out in my favor. Okay, it always does. Like it's that easy, but hard at the same time of reprogramming what it is you see your life as. If you see it as shit's always constantly happening to me, what's going to happen to your life? But if I'm constantly like these trials come, I would be having an expectation that couldn't be filled if I didn't think that life wasn't full of ups and downs. I'd be disappointed every time. I understand this is a duality world. Both exist, and I have to go through that to also level myself up and expand. So hold a perspective that works for you, that allows you to continue to grow instead of just stopping yourself. We want to understand that everything's working in a favor to grow, to expand, to take me to new opportunities that fit me and where I need to go, even if that's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Man, oh my God, too powerful. I honestly, all that was powerful, bro. You guys could see why she's the universe's child. And hey, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we all are, but yeah, let's talk about this. So, one thing was meeting people where they're at. Yo, I want to give a real example from my life because with my dad, right? Like, he was pretty hard on me, and I always hated that shit. I ain't gonna lie, I always hated that. But and he's dead now, so I had to get over that. Like, while he was dying, I was getting over that. And I realized something, like, when he told me about his dad, I'm like, whoa, I'm glad I didn't have his dad. So it's like, I'm not saying that what my dad did was right, but I could see, like, dang, he actually was better than his dad. And then with me right now, right, I'm going to have a kid at some point, and I know that I'm not perfect. I may do something that my kid's like, why would he do that? And then my kid's gonna be the better version of me. It's gonna keep on getting passed down. So it actually is important to realize that because it's never saying that it's okay for them to be like that, but it's just understanding where they are. And that deals with controlling your emotions because I love how you said that it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel anger. If you're going to do that, it does need to be a choice because sadness actually does tell you something. When you're sad, right, you don't really feel like doing anything. You're like, oh, yeah, nah. And that's for a reason. Usually when you're sad, you're being called to like step out and view things a certain kind of way. You're not meant to be acting and doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Your sadness tells you, hey, slow down. View your thoughts and why your thoughts are making you feel this way and then change them around. When you feel angry, right? Oftentimes it's because there's something happening that you wouldn't want to happen. And the anger will give you the energy to actually transform that thing. So I'm not saying like be angry, start punching stuff, but I'm saying, okay, feel that anger and find out, what boundaries being crossed? What don't I like that's happening? And then be like, how can I change that for my own favor? When you're sad, be like, okay, let me just sit. Go ahead.
Can I add something to that?
Go ahead.
For example, say you are in an altercation with someone, I love using this, and you're communicating with them, and then you don't know what to say back, and then 3 hours later, you're sitting there and you're like, damn it, I should have said this. This is my worth, and you get angry. Well, what can we do in that situation? We can sit there with that emotion and explain the anger because somebody just treated us like shit and we didn't know our worth at the time. And two, we can then go, well, how I'm going to get over this is I'm going to learn communication better. I'm going to work on that. Boom. We just alchemized that emotion.
That was fire right
like
there.
That.
That was fire right there. And yeah, that's so facts because like, you feel that anger? You feel that drive? Oh yeah, learn how to communicate now. Like I bet you go feel that drive to learn that now for a fact. Because yeah, I felt that so many times, bro. Where I'm like, damn, I should have said this. But I've had to learn, like, okay, now I'm gonna start saying that. I'm gonna start saying that. You know what I'm saying? So you don't gotta just sit there and sulk. You could like really learn from these emotions. With the sadness, take the time to feel that watery emotion, let the things flow through, observe what happened and how perspectives could actually be changed. Even stuff like anxiety, right? People will get ready to do things, right? They feel anxiety, but anxiety is not even always that bad. Oftentimes your body is just preparing you for what's about to happen. Like with this event, I felt super excited, but if I resisted my excitement, it would have became anxiety. I would be like, oh my god, class coming up. Nah. Let the energy flow through you. Let these things flow through you. So emotion in general is very important to learn how to control because emotion is energy in motion, which is why when we oftentimes feel emotion, we just act off it very quick because it's an energy moving inside us, and it just causes us to act a certain kind of way. But when you actually control that, it becomes so powerful because you get control over your energy. You get in the arguing, don't you feel drained? Cause you put all that energy out there. You feel drained. Now you just wasted your own life force. You know what I'm saying? Controlling your emotions literally will control your life force energy. You know. Also, like she was saying earlier, where attention goes, energy flows. So like if you choose to observe a certain perspective, your energy flows there. Your emotions flow there. And if you're gonna make that happen, where you make emotions flow a certain place, do it consciously. You know what I'm saying? Don't just have it pop up and now if it happens, that's cool. But after you have the whole reaction, now you can slow down, observe, find out why you reacted so quickly, and then learn how to change that, you know? And it's also important to like really become stable in like who you are and what you want to do. Because oftentimes people have like they don't have like a solid way that they want their life to go and how they want to be treated, you know? And I'm not saying that like you should just be inside your head and then at all times you just know like, oh yeah, like I want this to be like that and life should be exactly like that. Cause that's not always gonna happen. But it's good to have some kind of standard because there's people who just like roaming around inside of life and they never even considered like, damn, like what kind of person am I? What do I want for myself? What kind of life do I want for myself? How do I want to be treated? When you think these things, right? You'll look around in your life and be like, hold up, that friend does not align with that. That
Mhm.
perspective does not align with that. This area does not align with that. This job does not align with that. But when you don't even consider what you truly want and you don't even get grounded inside yourself and who you are, you just kind of just like float around life. And you actually kind of start getting controlled by emotion because like if something makes you feel good, then it just automatically becomes good. If something makes you feel bad, it automatically becomes bad. But you can't always go by that because what may feel good could be like, hey, not to be that guy, but drugs. You know what I'm saying? It might be like, a little bit of sniff, sniff. And like, you can't always go by that. But if you say inside your head, oh, I want to be like a mentally stable person, you won't do the drugs. You know what I'm saying? So when you already decide, and when you say this, like, oh, I want to be a person who's able to grow inside their life, that means that when certain things feel bad, you won't automatically say, oh, that's bad. You'll be like, okay, this feels bad, but because I want to grow, how am I going to treat this situation and this experience, you know? And you take your power back because now everything once again becomes a choice. It's always a choice. And you choose where you want to observe, you choose what you pay attention to. So if you want to pay attention to all like the more undesirable stuff and what happened and how you didn't do this or how you did do that, your best stuff, if you pay attention to that, your energy goes there. You start just getting drained when you just go like, hold up, okay,
Mhm.
yes, that happened. Okay, yes, I felt angry. Okay, yes, I felt sad, but what do I do from here? How do I move forward? How do I take this energy and make it move through me to make my life go forward and not backward, you know? So that's really big with spiritual power, controlling emotion, finding out who you truly are on the inside of what you truly want for your life, and also understanding that not all people are going to understand how to properly treat you because they never got treated right their dang self, you know? Like it's actually like not that
Mhm.
common that people just grow up with crazy spiritually attuned parents who teach them about freaking love and how to treat people correctly and how to be connected. That's not common. What's common is, oh my god, you're so stupid. You should have washed the dishes. Oh my god, why didn't you take out the fucking trash? Oh, no, no, you failed your homework. That's what you usually get. So is it really a surprise that people will start
Yes.
acting that way towards you? It's not okay, but it starts to make sense. You start understanding, okay, that person has mommy issues. That's not a reflection of me. That person has daddy issues. It's not a reflection of me. And you shouldn't also be like, oh, they have daddy issues. Ha ha. They're so, nah. You should have some kind of compassion for them too. Don't be like, oh, they have daddy issues, so I'm gonna just help them and then let them disrespect me all the time. But be like, you know what? I won't completely blow up on them. I'll just move along in my own life. Thank you for your service. I saw what I had to see. Now I'm gonna move on. And that is really big when it comes to taking back
Mhm.
your power spiritually.
Yes, thank you for that message and that reminder, because I feel like sometimes we can forget that when we're coming across people. There is one thing before we wrap up this slide, and it is the word accountability. Having accountability with yourself and with others is spiritual power. Okay, in situations that you get in, and say you get in a fight with a friend and then later you're like, man, I should have went about it differently. Well, let's take accountability on that. Let's communicate with that. That is power. I made a poor choice. I'm going to take accountability for that. And with being able to do that, we're now holding ourselves accountable, and we're disciplining ourselves, and we're working on our worth, right? Because also, if I'm coming to somebody and I'm taking accountability for my actions and I'm communicating, that's a powerful thing. Like, a lot of people don't do that. They'll just be like, okay, I'm not going to talk to them for the rest of my life, and I'm just going to act like nothing happened, and I'm just going to leave this weird energy. And like, how many have been through that? Because I have so many times.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be like, I'm never talking to them again. No, no, we're going to take accountability. And because when we take accountability, we grow. When we're able to show up vulnerable, we're in our power. Hey, I didn't communicate properly with you, and I should have, because I care about you and I care about this, and I'm sorry. How can we go about rekindling this? Boom. Wow, did that sting? Just a little bit, but it's going to feel 10 times better when it's like, oh, wow, thank you. You see me. It's okay to be wrong. Like, this narrative of we can never be wrong, or we can't make mistakes, or we can't just fess up to it, or we look stupid is false. That is an illusion. And that is a narrative we've been fed. Wipe it out. Take it out. It doesn't exist. We're here for the human experience. That is with trial and error. That's how we grow. So yes, I just wanted to add that part, the spiritual power, because it is a very powerful practice to take accountability.
And I want to add to that too with the accountability because, yo, that's actually really important because, like, when you take accountability, you literally take more control. Like, if you say, oh, that wasn't my fault, so you're telling me that you just had no control over that situation at all? Like, that's not powerful. Just having shit just happen randomly without your control, that's not power. When you say, you know what, I take accountability for that. I'll take that responsibility. Because responsibility, the ability to respond to something. You know what I'm saying? You have the ability to choose how you respond to things. So if you actually take that, that becomes a power. You have control over how things manifest. And sometimes you will mess up. But like she said, when you say, you know what, I messed up, you take that responsibility and you're responding to the situation differently in a more high vibrational way, in a more powerful way. That's not saying, "Oh, that wasn't my fault. Something just came over me. Oh, I had no control there. Oh, that was." That's not powerful at all. That's low key. That's kind of childish a little bit, bro. Like, how many children say, "Oh, that wasn't my fault." Like,
Manipulative.
it is. It really is, bro. And like, bro, I remember being a kid where I'm like, that's not my fault. And as a kid, it's a bit more acceptable because you're not as mature and stuff like that. But you gotta grow out that mindset, bro. You can't be like a kid and be like, oh yeah, that was because of Billy down the street. Like, bro, you hit Billy down the street. That's why he took your toy or something like that. Like, there's a reason why things happen. You know what I'm saying? You could take that accountability. So that was really important. I'm happy you
Mhm.
added that.
Ooh, ooh, let's go. We're ready for the next slide, y'all. This is
Yes.
great. I'm loving this. This is awesome. Oh my God, this one's one of my absolute favorites. Okay, understanding and building spiritual protection. Okay, a lot of you guys are empaths up in this call, okay? And that means that we are more prone to energy vampires. darker forces, people trying to manipulate us, control us. I don't know, just everything, right? Like we're more sensitive to these things. It is incredibly important to understand how to take care of your energy body. Like you can't do it without it. Like I've literally tried, I've tested it, and the power of understanding your protection of yourself and taking care of it is going to lead you into a happier life. And it's going to allow you to also then focus more within yourself. Because, you know, when we are at everybody else's whim and everyone's taking advantage of our energy field and, you know, this person's saying this and I'm people pleasing and I'm just we have our cup is empty. It is constantly empty. And then it gets filled and then guess what? Corinne's calling me. Corinne's like, hey girl, let's go do something. Can you do this for me? And like inside I'm like, I really don't feel like it. I just got energized. Yeah. You know what, Corinne? Yeah, I will. Like I'll be right there, honey. Okay. And that is just that's not helping. It's not helping you. So I want you to kind of go into your thing, Jeannie, and I'll kind of just expand on that.
Yeah, so man, she's hitting the nail on the head, bro. And there's so many different reasons why you need spiritual protection. And it's so multi-layered because sometimes, right, when you're protecting yourself spiritually, it's not always even about the other person's bad. Like sometimes you just can't give out your energy in that time. Other times the energy actually is bad and you don't need that. So we'll talk about first like what spiritual protection kind of like even is. See, spiritual protection, right, deals with, in a simple way, protecting your spirit. But what does that actually mean? It's about protecting your awareness and your energy. Once again, like she said, where your attention goes, energy flows. If you don't protect what you let inside of your awareness and what you pay attention to, you spill energy over to that, you know? And when you don't protect your energy, energy is very real. How many times have you walked outside of a room where people were arguing? You're like, damn, it just feels bad inside here. How many times, like, if any of y'all have been to New York, bro, I know I'm not the only one. When I go to New York, bro, I instantly feel the difference. It's just grimy over there, bro. I can't lie. And
Yes.
that's why I get sent over there a lot. I get sent there to do grit work all the time, bro, because, and then also my boys, they do music and their music is very high vibrational and they do shows in New York to raise the vibration. You see what I'm saying? So we could always feel when something's kind of like off and kind of grimy. It's like, you know, energy is very important. So you need to protect your energy because sometimes you'll be inside the outside world and there's like some like malevolent forces trying to mess with you. Sometimes it's just low vibrational energy that's not necessarily trying to mess with you, but it's not good for your system. It's like, for example, let's say like somebody's sick, right? And then they sneeze on a tissue. If you touch that tissue, you're gonna get sick. Now, the virus wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go out my way to harm you. However, you did interact with it, therefore you become sick. So some people, they're not trying to harm you, but their energy is not good for you. Sometimes the energy is good, but only in certain doses. Like for me, my life is pretty busy nowadays, and it's only getting busier and busier. So because of that, I can't always text people. Like literally, if I want to, but I don't have the energy, like literally, like my speech will be all off, and I'm not comprehending what they're saying, and it's just all like, then I feel more tired after it. So not only was the conversation bad, I feel tired at the end of it. It's better to know how to be like, you know what? This person wants to communicate, but I can't do it right now. I got to put that shield up. You know what I'm saying? And then later on, like after you feel good again, you could talk to them. So there's different reasons to protect yourself. But overall, it is important because if you don't want to protect what you observe, it gets inside of your mind. Like if you're observing bad content all day, like low vibrational content, hateful things and stuff like that, just low vibe energy, right? It's gonna be inside your mind. Now you're gonna base your thoughts out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you've been watching hate all day, then when someone does something bad to you, you're gonna automatically just feel that hate. You're more likely to feel that. If it's been love all day, then you're gonna naturally feel that love. It's more often to feel that. So you gotta protect what you even simply just observe. People talk about intaking food, but there's mental food too. Information is mental food. Like us talking to you, this is mental food right here. I'm sharing mental food with you. And some people will also, there's people who teach classes all the time and give out false information. You know what I'm saying? And then you have that inside your mind, and you think that it's true because the person could have came off nice and had authority, but the information is actually kind of false. But if you don't protect that, if you don't watch who you're, if you don't really pay attention to who you're watching and what they're spitting to you, no matter how good they may seem, they could have a million followers. We know how it is nowadays. If you got a million, you could actually. If you have a million, you could have did some low vibe stuff to get there. You know what I'm saying? So forget followers and all the glamour. What are they actually saying, and how does this information really resonate? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't feel like this resonates, stop listening. Even if you're watching it knowing that it doesn't resonate, you don't want to keep in taking that. That's like being in. That's like being in a danger zone. Knowing it's a danger zone and still just staying there. Like, no, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So some of you guys have friends, and you know for a fact that their mindsets leak off into you. You know that their emotions leak onto you. You know what I'm saying? Just because you know that, oh, that's just my friend and that's not my energy. You can't, doesn't mean stay in the danger zone. Protect yourself while in there. But we're not saying, no, I'm not saying just go walk inside that joint, but sometimes you are forced to be around people, like if it's school or if it's your household. So in those situations, you gotta protect yourself. One easy way, of course, is shielding. Like, everyone knows, like, bro, you just imagine the shield around yourself. You know what I'm saying? Imagine the shield. It could be like, for example, you can make like an obsidian shield. Like, just imagine a black obsidian shield all around you, because obsidian is really good with protection and stuff like that. You could also fill your shield with light. You know what I'm saying? So that way it's always light energy inside that shield. It's like you always keep your energy inside that shield. And then of course you have prayer. Like, I think that prayer and shielding are like pretty, like, those are pretty basic ones that are actually very efficient that everybody should know. Like, and actually understanding how to pray too, because prayer is only effective if you understand the power truly. Like, you could say, "Oh, I banish you," but if you don't feel like that, it's not gonna mean nothing. When you say, "Oh, I banish you," you know what I'm saying? That's more powerful. When you say, "Oh, spirit guys, please protect me," and you actually have that you actually have that conviction, you actually believe it, they'll truly do that. So, saying prayers is very important. If you want to do like some quick little protection, wake up, say a protection prayer, middle of the day, do one. At nighttime, do one, you good. And then throughout the day, keep your shields up and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'll leave I'll leave that right there, and I'll let you talk about a few things.
Yes. Okay, so I cannot even express how intention is one of the strongest things that you, and also in belief. You can believe in whatever you want. This is an infinite universe, people. If you want to believe you have angels damn well watching you, they definitely are. Okay? And with knowing that, it can't be penetrated. Okay? So like I had to work a lot on that on my journey with having so much conviction in my protection, and shit don't bother me. It don't. It don't come around me because I am constantly underneath that awareness. So we want to do a little exercise with you, if that's okay with you guys. And we're just going to call back our power, and I'm going to show you exactly the power of your voice. Okay, that's probably my favorite ways of protecting my power and energy. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a nice deep breath in and out. And we're just going to sit with ourselves where we're at. And this is what we're going to say, okay? I call back my energy and power from all corners, places, people, individuals, and dimensions that have been draining, deceiving, and negative. I call it back now. And I want you to just sit here and feel your energy body. Some of you might feel it coming back into you. I know I do after certain things that drain me. But it is a powerful thing to use your voice. But if you constantly start saying something like that and it becomes your habit, you start to feel it more and more. It is like that thing at the end of the day, like it's like brushing your teeth. That's what we want our spiritual protection to be. It is a part of our daily routine, and it's something that we value because we value ourselves. We also want to bring up nature here. It does feel amazing, doesn't it? I just got chills reading that. So Mother Nature, honey, y'all need to get out there more. She is a natural replenisher. You go out in nature 30 minutes a day, 10 minutes. I don't even care if it's 5 minutes. You spend time outside and you ask for replenishment, she will give it to you every time. Like, nature is so deeply connected to even the inside of us. You see our nerves, how they look like trees. You know, like there's so much evidence where we're connected. Go hug a tree and watch what it does for your life. Like, it sounds crazy, but it becomes a habit, and then you start to also connect deeper with nature because it is your natural nature. Go figure. But that is also another way to heal, as well as protect yourself. Because I know some of you aren't like the ones that want to use smudge sticks like sage and Palo Sands. Getting outside and having that thought of, please help me feel replenished, is going to go so far for you. It really, you don't have to overdo this. Okay, like you don't have to make this a whole ritual. It can honestly just be something intimate with yourself that you are caring for, and it just grows.
Yeah, that's actually really powerful. Yeah. Like the earth will literally like stabilize your energy and replenish you. And it's actually very important to be grounded too, because I'm not gonna lie, like somebody like me, yo, when I started off my journey, bro, I did not care about no grounding, bro. I'm like, grounding, I wanna be in the skies, bro. I'm trying to be in the heavens. Like I ain't trying to stay down here. But I realized something. The physical reality does not work in all the same ways as the spiritual one. So while you may be all the way up here, it's all lofty, it's beautiful, you got powers, you can shoot laser beams out your eyes, you're gonna come back down here and they think that you could do all the craziest stuff, then it's like, oh, you kind of start hitting blocks because the physical is not always exactly the same. Like, the spiritual realms do make up the physical, but because of that, we got to understand that things happen slower in the physical. We can't always make the instant power move that we want to actually make. And when we think that we can, we oftentimes could become like reckless and just give our energy out too quick. When you actually stay grounded, you're like, okay, hold up. This is Earth. I can't just be walking around out here like unprotected. I can't just be out here giving everybody my energy. I can't just make things happen just like that immediately. When you actually get back grounded, that's like huge protection. You become stable. You become rooted in who you actually are. And when you're not rooted inside of yourself, you can't protect yourself. Like if you're not inside your soul's awareness, where's the spiritual protection? If you're not in connection with spirit, what's the spiritual protection? You see what I'm saying? And what she said about intent was so powerful because you really do need that conviction. Like there's been times in the astral, right, where beings tried to come at me. I just start like speaking convictingly, I am source, I am spirit, you can't harm me. Like, bro, it's like literally I did that one time, bro, and it literally collapsed the whole entire reality. And I was literally floating in blackness. And then at some point the black went away. I was just there, not seeing anything, but I still knew that I didn't see black, white, I was just there. But my point is, my conviction was so strong that I destroyed the whole reality off of that. You know what I'm saying? You could be the same exact way because you literally have that power of God inside of you. Your soul is a piece of God, a piece of spirit. Do you think that God would come down here and be scared of somebody? Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? God has all the conviction in the world, all the power in the world. God is not worried about what somebody else is casting upon them. God will say, oh no, whatever they say, I have my own protection. I have my own energy that's going to cancel out their energy. And something very big, she was talking about hugging trees, and that's so powerful because like what the grounding aspect of it too, that really doesn't, that really will increase your vibration so much. And you got to understand that there's beings who cannot exist in low vibrations, literally. That's the reason why we have that whole mission of ascending the earth to 5D, because in 5D there's no more negative influence. You know what I'm saying? And yes, as beings, we have to come inside these lower densities and be around these lower energies. However, one of the best protections is staying inside your own high frequency, because other beings cannot exist around you. Like, let's say you just stay high vibe, right? You'll give off like a 10-foot radius, right, of just light that beings cannot exist in. They'll be 12 feet out, but when it comes to that 10 feet, they're not getting to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's actually very important because that's like people oftentimes may not want to make shields, and that's cool if you learn how to keep your energy high. Like if you could become an emitter of energy, that kind of becomes your own shield. It's like your shield just becomes your high vibration. However, I still would recommend shielding at least starting off because it could be hard to try to emit that energy off the rip, especially because once again we live on the earth and people do get to us sometimes. So if you haven't shielded up and you're trying to emit energy but people lower your vibration, then it's like, you know, you could really mix both. You could have the shield with the high vibe inside the shield type stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that would be powerful protection. Even putting energy inside of your space. Like I've been like, I'll give you guys a little quick example. Right? You could do stuff like breathe in. Right? You could breathe in a whole bunch of like, if they just go like, and imagine it going all around your room. That's actually a magical practice. Like there's magicians who do that with elements. Let's say for example, right? They want to put more emotional energy inside the room. They'll actually breathe in water and blow it out inside the air. Like not physical water, but they'll imagine water, they breathe it out. And then literally you'll go inside that room and
Mhm.
just start pouring out your emotions. You could do that with high vibrations also. Just fill your space with high vibrations, you know what I'm saying? You could also shield your house. I have shields around my house. I have two shields with this grid that like helmets too. Yes, yes. But I'm gonna talk about that. Yeah, helmets is fire. But I have literally two shields with a grid inside my house that constantly pours in high vibrational energy. On top of that, I have beings that also watch my house too. I'm not playing no games in my space. Like when I go out inside the world, I don't when I go out inside the world, I don't always suit up as crazy as I have my house. And that's because inside of your own house, like that should be your safe place, bro. This should be the place where you go back to your house and like you could connect back to who you truly are type stuff. You don't want to be out in the daytime, then you come back with a freaking demon inside your crib or something like that. Like, nah, then on top of that, people live inside your well, maybe not all of you, but for those of you who have people inside of your house, when you protect your house, you protect the people also because oftentimes when people aren't aware, they become open vessels for lower vibrational energies. So with that being said, if you protect your house, you protect the people too. Therefore, they cannot at these people cannot have lower beings get channeled through them, which will end up affecting you. You know, and then with the helmet thing, yo, that's really good. If like, let's say like you notice that you catch on to like people's thoughts too much, you can imagine a helmet over your head that just blocks out the energy. You know what I'm saying? That's a really cool one. So I saw somebody mention that. It's actually really fire. So yeah, and even like when you go out inside the world, right? Like let's say you have a workplace or you go to school, right? I wish I knew this at school that I could make my desk a safe space. Like I could just sit at my desk and feel all this high vibe, alien, angelic shit. Meanwhile, two desks down, we have freaking Susan who's being attacked by some low vibe entity. But I stay inside my own space. And then on top of that, when you get really good, you're like, hey, shoot, let me help out Susan real quick. I'll just send her some light real quick. You know what I'm saying? Hey, when you feel like that, hey, that's cool. But I wish I knew that. Even at my job. Like there's been so many times at my job where like I'm like, oh my god, these people here are just and then I could have just simply sat down and protected my own little workspace. And I would have been fine. And there has been times where like I've kind of noticed that I was, I come to work, had my music in and stuff like that, and I'm just vibing. And I would call it like my own personal bubble, I guess. Like I just feel like I'm just in my own energy and like other people aren't affecting me. But if I did that consciously, bro, it could have been so much better because so many people go to school and get drained, go to work and get drained. But it's like when you could keep your own energy, you could actually have like some kind of motivation towards the school or the work. I know, listen, I hated school, so I'm not saying you're gonna be like I love school, but it'll be better than going to school and be like, oh my God, school is just, because oftentimes, if you're going to a place that multiple people don't like, all those starts aren't even you. Like, like, bro, you're not the only one who hates school. Most people there hate the school, so they're feeling that also and projecting that onto you too. Same with work. People be miserable at work, and that energy is affecting you too. So you got to protect yourself at work, at school, and when you go out as well. Definitely, definitely had to say that. And I'm gonna leave that right there.
Awesome. I think there is one thing to add to this, and it's an example. So you can also work with the elements as well with protecting yourself. Very powerful. I believe you had mentioned that, Jeannie. But I'm going to give an example of my everyday life, something that I do. And it's the shower, people. Okay, we're working with the water spirit. Before I get into my shower, I simply say, by entering upon this shower, I am here to cleanse myself and also shift to my highest timeline. And then I'll name in my timeline what that is. That's great wealth. That's beautiful connections. That's healing, being in my purpose, right? When I get in the shower, I'm imagining the water. I'm thanking it for cleansing me, cleansing my aura. I imagine it taking away any negativity off of me, any projections. When I'm cleaning my face, I just started this spell on my face, and I'll be sharing it in this Discord. And when I wipe out, I'm like, I am now cleansing my face to get any projections off, any negative energy sent towards it, any imbalances in my body shall be balanced through my face. And with speaking these, it has cleared my face, literally. And it's crazy how our skin and our bodies, energetic bodies, react to these energies. And you wouldn't even believe how many people are not in the mindset of like, oh, wow, I'm inspired by her. No. Instead, they're like, I'm fucking jealous. You know, they'll like send that energy. Like they may not admit that they are, but they are literally sending that energy because they're comparing themselves to me because they don't see their own value. So when that happens, that person is then sending projection. Okay, like I want you guys to like really understand that like some people are unintentionally sending you these energies, and it is extremely, extremely important to do the work for yourself. Whether you're connecting with fire, earth, air, yourself, your spirit guides, your voice, I don't care what it is, you have to choose to do that for yourself because your life will be completely different. I'm picking up that there's people that work in retail. Retail is draining as fuck. Okay, like I worked in my whole entire life. And tell me why I couldn't do my spiritual practices because by the time I came home, I'm tired. I've already given so many messages to other people that were coming in. You know, I wasn't protecting myself. I was just doing the universe's favors. You know, I was just giving the messages, but without protection. But I also had to learn that to then gain protection. You understand? It's a process, honey. It's a process. But now I can go out. I'm replenished. My cup is full. And the universe sends me people that I need to speak to. And I'm not drained after those. I'm not taking on their energy. How many times has someone in your family been around you and you're just like, you feel mom? And you're like, damn, I feel bad. And then you literally take that energy and you put it on. You're like, all right, I'm going to put it up in the shoulders today. You know, I'll take some of that pain, mom. You may even unintentionally do that. That's why this is so incredibly important. And I guarantee if you stuck to this and you tried it for yourself, you would see the difference. You'd have energy. You'd be able to do things that you desire and crave and want to do, and you wouldn't have to feel drained anymore if you took it seriously. And also if you chose your atmospheres. If you deliberately choose to be in a negative vibrational area, you're doing it. Like you had nobody else to blame but yourself. Like you have to use caution in the areas you're choosing to go to and how you're showing up. It's just what it is. You're accountable.
Man, that was perfect. And I'm gonna add one thing to the cleansing thing too. Yeah, bro. Yo, one thing I do with cleansing is I use the showers. Been doing that a lot recently. Then also with fire, right? Like if I feel like I have other people's energy on me, I just imagine fire just burning it all off, like just that quick. I just emit
Mm-hmm.
fire and it's just gone, you know? So that's actually like really important. And then like on the earth aspect, you could use earth to like once again like ground yourself and like create like that stableness inside of yourself. And then with air, it's like air is very good with like communication and like moving between different thoughts and stuff like that. So if you notice that like you have just too many thoughts get into you, air can help you just switch off that real quick. You know what I'm saying? Just bounce between these old low vibe thoughts to get to the new high vibe thoughts, you know? So cleansing is hugely important. Even going outside and having wind hit you, going outside and having wind hit you is actually very cleansing. It will actually help cleanse your mind and certain certain karmic
Mhm.
impressions. A karmic impression is like a past tendency. So when we do certain things, right, it sets up an energy inside of ourselves. It sets up an energy inside of ourselves to do that again. So if you did like a negative action, right, the energy of that action is inside of your system, and it's more prone to come out again. The wind actually helps to cleanse all that, you know. So standing outside and having the wind hit you is actually very powerful. Like Hindu yogis call it Vayu cleansing or wind cleansing because it really does help you a lot. And it'll energize you too. So yeah, you can use the elements for cleansing a lot. One of my favorites are I love water for just getting those like just clearing those emotions out and stuff like that and just letting it just flow and just releasing that. Then that fire
Mhm.
just burns off everything. It's like actually you can actually mix water and fire then get lava. I actually do that inside the shower. Like I'll use my lava dragon. Like literally, I'll just like it's like the emotions just come. It's like they flow and just get burnt up instantly, and I love doing that. So imagine if fire burning off the energy, getting inside that shower, even just seeing white light coming down and cleansing you, bro. You gotta cleanse yourself, bro. Because even if you have a shield, who says that there's not energy on that shield now that has to be cleansed? Because if too much energy hits that shield, it could break at some point. So even cleansing your shield is important. So yeah, had to add that. Is there anything else you wanted
I
to
love
add?
it. No, this is how like transparent I want to be with you guys. If there's literally something for everyone for cleansing, don't make an excuse. Don't be like, that doesn't feel right. That doesn't. Then find what feels right. Okay, like I just want you guys to hold yourself accountable, like, because it's just there's no excuses for this. It isn't like you do what resonates, what you are being drawn to do. Like if none of this resonates, then find it on your path. Okay. But everybody needs it. It's a thing.
Yes.
But we'll go on to the next one here. Discovering and fulfilling your life's purpose. Oh, yes. I love this.
Oh my God, yeah. Purpose is a huge thing because like your life's purpose is like the reason why you even came down here, right? And let's not make it all super crazy woo woo. Most people are either here to learn, to experience, or to serve people. And oftentimes it's like a mix of all three. Like you'll be learning at some points, you'll just be experiencing things that don't really like even experiences help teach you things, but sometimes it's just like I want that experience just to have it, you know what I'm saying? So you'll go through that, you'll also help people. And when you understand like, okay, where am I at in my life right now? Like right now I'm trying to learn a lot. What am I trying to learn? Oh, I'm trying to learn this. When you actually recognize like why you're doing what you do, you get more passion and zest for life. Because many people just walk around like they're just living, but they don't really know why they're doing what they do. It's really important to try to figure out what you want to do on this earth, you know. And the thing is, right? You don't gotta be like, oh, what did I say? My purpose was. What did I say back before I incarnated? What did I say my purpose would actually be? You don't gotta think about what you said back before you incarnated. Want to know why? Because inside your life right now, people already kinda know what they want to do, and the thing that they want to do is what their soul said to do. Like whenever you have a thought, oh, I want to do this, your soul already said that. You don't gotta freaking have a hypnosis session and go back to before you incarnated and see what your life purpose was. Like, nah, like you could feel that. Like, what naturally makes you feel happy in your life? Like for me, right? I noticed that I just like even as a kid, right? I'll watch videos called 50 Amazing Facts and then just share them. I told my friends when I was younger, I'm like, yo, you know, caffeine is a drug. They're like, oh no, you're tweaking. It actually is a drug, but it's like I love sharing information, and that's what I do now. You know, like I love to share information to actually help people. That's what makes me feel good, you know? So like you naturally will find a zest for certain things, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's something like playing video games, bro. Like if you feel like you play against what you're meant to do, who says that it's not? Of course, we're not saying that like if you're like we're not saying to just game all day and don't do anything else. You're gonna have to sustain your life, of course. But there's nothing wrong with doing what truly makes you happy. Because even with the universe's child right here, she was telling me how like she'll play games and like just like share her positive energy and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, that's so dope. Like people need that because like yo, like people like oftentimes people play games as an escape, which is what she told me yesterday. I'm like, yo, that's so facts. Like if they want to escape It's good to have a person who's like, "Hey, I hope you're doing good. Hey, love you lots." All that, like, people need to hear that. So you could spread light in so many ways, bro. You don't gotta just be a teacher or a person who does classes. Like, you could do so much. Even just working at a daycare with kids could be part of your purpose, bro. Like, let's say you just love kids so much, you could be at that daycare meditating with the kids, teaching the kids all different kinds of things. So it don't gotta be some grand purpose of, oh, I gotta take over the world, I gotta freaking build a pyramid, I gotta do this crazy thing. Like, nah, just find out what naturally makes you feel happy when you do it, because that is the why right there. And like I said, the why always deals with, on some level, serving others, experiencing, and learning. So if you're struggling, just be like, okay, am I learning right now? Am I helping others right now? Am I simply just experiencing? Then from there, go like, okay, if I'm learning, what am I learning? Am I learning about quantum physics, about the astral realm, about psychology, about how to communicate? Because that's your purpose for that moment. Because we'll have different purposes for different points of our life. Like right now, for example, I'm creating a whole bunch of courses. Like I have so many PowerPoints made right now, it's ridiculous, right? But 10 years later, it's like since I already made the courses, now I'm maybe writing a book, or I'm just doing exclusive one-on-one coaching. You know what I'm saying? The purpose could change, but it's still part of the bigger purpose. Like, the courses are serving, the classes are serving, but there's different ways to serve at different points of time. Sometimes I'm just learning certain stuff. Like, sometimes I'm not really making no videos. I'm just learning whole new concepts. So when you ask yourself, okay, if I'm learning, what am I learning right now? That'll help you find that current purpose. Sometimes it's okay, I'm just experiencing. Well, what are you experiencing? Are you trying to experience a relationship? Are you trying to experience letting go of certain guilt from the past, maybe? Are you trying to experience simply just like how to naturally flow with life? If that's what it is, that's cool. If it's serving the creation, okay, how are you serving? Are you making classes, making courses? Are you a healer? Are you helping to activate people's timelines? Are you working from the astral and doing astral warfare? Like, there's so many things. So if you just recognize, like, okay, there's like the main things are learning and serving and experiencing. Which one of those am I doing right now? When you just think about it like that, it becomes so easy to find the purpose of your life right now, because you don't got to have it all figured out. Like, oh, when I'm 80 years old, I'm gonna have this done. Like, nah, just look at your life right now. What's going on right now? What are you trying to do right now? What is the big why right now? When you find that, you just get that natural zest for life. You just want to wake up and just learn, wake up and just want to serve. Like, that will drive you in everything. Even if you have a job that's not fully aligned with your purpose, it's like you'll know that you have a purpose, and then while at that job, you can still like have motivation, because you know that at the end of the day, you're gonna move beyond that job and then live out your purpose. So I'm gonna leave that right there for now, and I'm gonna let you say what you gotta say.
So I feel personally from my experience and just my perspective in general on the life's purpose, I think the human journey inevitably just takes you to that purpose. Um, I find like in a world of duality, right? Like, even somebody who doesn't take the journey, the self journey of evolving, that person still has a purpose. Maybe that person is mean to somebody and teaches them boundaries. Maybe it teaches them, something new about themselves and is a reflection. So honestly, like when we look at life's purpose, everybody has one, and they always have one in their present moment. So right now, maybe your purpose is you've gone around and you just saying hi to somebody. You just shared a loving energy. That is a purpose. Okay, like I think when we think of life's purpose, we try to think of it as something so big to fulfill, when really it's just all throughout the journey. So say, I have information about magic and I want to share that with somebody, but then on my next journey, I'm learning more about the mind, to self-development, and then I share something else about that. I've still had purpose in every stage of the journey. Even when I was in a toxic state, that I was in before coming into all of this, I was still having purpose at that time. And I think it's very important to understand that, because so many people, take their lives because they feel not wanted. They feel like they don't have a purpose. And I think that's so important to understand is that everybody has a purpose, whether you see that or not. Um, and then like there comes this pressure that we try to put ourselves on of like, my purpose has to look like this and looks like this and looks like this. And like we're so used to boxes that we try to put our purpose in a box, and like I can tell you, it doesn't work. Okay, like I've tried that so many times to try and identify myself, and it doesn't work that way. You have no control. Like there is no control. You are called, and you answer the call, and you fulfill that no matter what you're doing on your journey. It's just in that moment. So like don't pressure yourselves, you know? Like even that hello to that old man was tremendous. You just raised like a whole like grid there by saying hi to him. But we don't think of it like that because we're told, oh, you got to go to college to become something. You know what I'm saying? Like they have fed you these narratives to think you have to do these big, grand things to have a purpose. And it's not true. So really just stand in your heart here. And I know that's so cliche. That's so like, do your journey, work on yourself, put yourself first, and the universe will put you in the places that you are needed. And it means more than anything, you know?
Yeah, and I love what you said. Like it's a calling, bro. Like literally, you can't escape your purpose. The more you try, the less fulfilled you actually feel. Like when people don't feel fulfilled with their lives, it's because they're not living out their purpose, you know? There's no fulfillment like your purpose, literally, bro. And when it comes to our purpose, right? It's like even healing, right, could be a purpose. Like people will think that their purpose is like, oh, I gotta, like you said, do this grand thing, right? But like you trying to do that could make you feel unfulfilled because you're trying to be something that you're actually not. Like if you're a spiritual teacher, it's like you're gonna try to be that and then not feel fulfilled. You're gonna always kind of feel fake too, like oh I'm kind of an imposter. You're not gonna feel fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely will feel that fulfillment though if you focus on that healing journey and processing all these things because now you're like, dang, I wanted to teach. Let me instead heal. And I could teach healing, but before you could have wanted to been like a you could have wanted to be like a philosopher who gives a certain mindset about life. But the mindset that you had is kind of corrected because you're not fully healed yet. You're like, oh yeah, F everybody sucks, da da da, yeah. But you're gonna do that, teach that, and kind of feel wrong. Instead, you're gonna start healing and be like, hold up, I'm healing. I see so much about myself and about life. Let me share the healing information. Let me stop trying to be a freaking guru and just say how to heal. Let me actually heal people also. Let me actually like do like energy healing and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you shouldn't try to fake a purpose either. You know, you shouldn't try to be like, oh, it has to be this. Like, no, you know what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I knew like years ago, like about a few years ago, right? I was doing a lot of healing from my ex, you know? And my thing is, right, if I were to give out certain mindsets that I had at that time, that shit would have been like bad. Like I would have been corrupted minds out here, which is why I knew that I should be talking like that. I should just be trying to heal. Cause like I could like luckily with me, I was already spiritual while dealing with this, so I understood that these thoughts get up on video and then just start talking like I know everything because I'm still trying to heal my dang self. And then as I was healing, bro, I learned so much. And the thing is, right, even that became spiritual because I'm not gonna lie, like even healing it of itself is spiritual, right? But on a higher level, it literally led to past life stuff too. Like I was able to see like why I repeated this trauma and how it came from past lives also. Now I'm not saying that you got to deal with past lives because there's many people who don't care about past lives and they're not supposed to. Like one reason why you come on the earth and forget your stuff, people will do that because they want to start all over again. They don't want to know the alien stuff. They don't want to like if you let's say that you were a super high dimensional being, right? And you mastered the whole entire universe, that could get kind of boring. You know what I'm saying? But it's fun to come back in a lower density and actually like have the human mindset and have to actually live from that perspective, you know? So even though I may tap into my past life stuff, that may not be for everybody, and that's cool. Like even with like Indian yogis, right? Indian yogis care more about connecting with source opposed to the past life because people will know their past lives and still be horrible people. I've seen it literally, you know? So with that being said, Your purpose is always unique to you. If you don't feel like past lives are calling out to you right now, don't try to force that. If you don't feel like being a teacher is calling out to you right now, then don't try to be that. If you don't feel like being a healer, etc. If you don't feel that right now, if it's not calling to you, you don't gotta do that because something else is. Right now you're trying to learn something. Right now you're serving somebody. Right now you're getting some kind of experience. What is it? What is it? Even the person that hurt you, they were serving you. You see what I'm saying? That's why I said those three, serving, experiencing, and learning, those are always like the root of all these things because the people that hurt us, they're serving us. And even those people will hurt us, right? And then because we said, oh no, you hurt me, that can't happen again, you'll actually teach them how to stop being that kind of person. Like I know with my ex, you know what I'm saying? Me and her both were not good to each other. So because of that, she had to change and I had to change. You know what I'm saying? So me hurting her and her hurting me served each other and it also taught us both, you know? So those are always going to be like underlying things and things that tend to always hold us back is the fact that we think like, oh, my purpose is not going to help keep me alive. I still got to make money and all this other stuff. And that's understandable, but understand that you can make money off your purpose, even if it's just making art. Bro, I was on Instagram, right? And this one guy like had three Pokemon cards, right? And he's just painting over the Pokemon cards, right? And like he makes like he pretty much turns the cards into like one big picture, right? And I'm like, yo, this is tough. I want that. He was selling it. Now I'm not gonna lie. If I loved Pokemon a whole bunch, I would have bought that. I know people were buying that. Even if nobody bought that, he got mad views on that video. It probably took him a while, you know what I'm saying? But still, like let's say he was working a job, right? His purpose of wanting to just create art and stuff like that, I know for a fact that kept him going. Because when you don't have that purpose, you're just waking up and repeating a cycle again with no reason for doing it. The purpose is the why, though. Like, for example, the art person, right? Yeah, he could work the job, but he understands, like, yo, I want to create this art for real. I'm doing this job so I can actually get money to, like, pay bills and stuff like that so I can ultimately do art full time. And then at some point they were able to, you know? So this may be a process to fully live out your purpose, but even the building up of fulfilling your purpose is part of the purpose. Like for example, with me, right, and being like a spiritual coach and stuff like that, I had to build that up, you know. But even the build up came with its own purposes. One of them was healing. One of them was learning, of course. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn many different things. I had to simply just learn. Like at first, I would only do like life development coaching, right? And stuff like that and mindset. So I learned a lot about the mind and psychology, right? At some point, I want to do fucking, excuse my French. I want to do spiritual readings, right? You know what I'm saying? I wanted to like be able to just intuitively know things. So I actually started practicing. I was like, yo, like, I would have a card like this, right? And I just try to feel what's on the card. And then I ain't gonna lie, yo, it was hard at first. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I would fail a lot. Like, dang, like I didn't pick that up, right? But because I really wanted to do that, because I really cared about that, I kept on pushing and pushing and pushing, and I got pretty good. I'm not like spot on. Like I can't just say like, oh, that's the time for a nap card. But I'll feel the sleepy energy of something, you know. And because of that, because I practice, I cannot do spiritual readings. So even the process of building my way up to that was part of my purpose because now I understand if you guys want to do that, I know how you could practice. I can help you practice. I can help teach you now. So it's like even though you may not like fully just be a spiritual teacher overnight or a spiritual coach overnight, you building up to that is still part of the purpose. I was working at a job while building myself up, right? And even at the job, I was helping people and stuff. I would just give them like little small advice and everything like that. And then when the time, sometimes, right? Sometimes life will force you. Like you'll just get fired from every single job for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like with my very last job, I got fired for no reason. But I understood that at that period of time, I was already pushing heavy on my purpose and I already wanted to go full time with my purpose. And by that time I had already did all the work because I've been working on my stuff for years, you know what I'm saying? So it's like after all these years, we're like, okay, now it's time. We're remove this real quick. You know what I'm saying? Then they removed that, and it was actually perfect because I got fired, I could get unemployment. Because of unemployment, when I wasn't making money, I could still pay bills until I started making the money. Now I'm making the money, and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But I had to go through that whole entire process, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but because I truly cared about that, because I knew that was my purpose, I kept on pushing forward. And if you try to have like a fake purpose, you're trying to be something that you're not, you can't have that same drive. You're gonna give up at some point. But when you actually find out what the true purpose is, what you truly are meant to be doing, what you're truly meant to do right now, what's truly calling you right now, you'll always have that motivation to just keep on going and going and going, no matter what. And that's what's gonna really fulfill you inside this life.
Woo! Mhm. That was powerful. Thank you for sharing your experience too. You know, it kind of gives you some scenarios of how purpose is in play here.
Mm-hmm.
I think one more thing to wrap up this slide is being aware of the ego through this. So, and what do I mean by that is, say I I am doing something specifically, but I'm being called to do something else, but my ego wants me to stay here because I've already put too much time into this. I've already said this is my purpose, and I'm like holding this ego about it. No, drop it. Okay? Because I'm going to say, even just from my experience, I've had to learn. And, you know, Jeannie was talking about this. I had to learn like 30 different things, 30 different trials, and I've had to skip to multiple different things to come to where I am now. And that knowledge builds, but within all of that was a purpose. So there is like no end goal to purpose. And I find like everybody does this. They're like, oh, I want to figure out my life's purpose. Well, your life purpose is, there's one right away, and that's called living the human experience. Hello? Welcome! Woo, woo, woo! You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all born with a purpose. We're purpose to breathe, you know? So I think it just depends like how you look at it. And we can't be scared to take these leaps and these jumps. Oh, wow, I'm being called to do pottery, but yet I'm so scared because it's something new. Well, then that means ultimately I have to do it. Because if I see it as me not wanting to do it because it's new, that's a fear, and fear is an illusion. Boom. I'm going to go do it. Like, you'll start to get quicker at these things in your mind to where you can see them and then you can just push right through it. But you have to keep at it. It is a process, okay? It is compassion for yourself. All of these things tie into one thing here. And I hope like you guys are receiving that, because it's just literally patience. Okay, it's just all patience and fully being in your present moment, understanding that, and living at your heart. Okay, it's really simple, but not. Okay? But I think that's like kind of where I wanted to wrap up this slide. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, that was perfect, bro. That was perfect. Right on the head. Hit the nail right on the head.
I think this is our last one here, and it is a personal favorite. I've said that for every slide. Okay, I just love the journey. Okay, but we're gonna learn how to let go and surrender to spirit. I kind of want to start this one if that's cool.
Yeah, go ahead. I was actually feeling that. I'm like, yeah, I hope she starts this one off.
Yeah. Personally, this has been one of my favorite things to invest my energy in. And there is nothing like sitting in a situation that feels hopeless, that feels like there is no solution, feel like, where is this money going to come from? And, you know, these lack terms are coming to your mind, and you're able to just simply be like, I don't care. I surrender. I trust that it will find me. I trust that it's on its way. Surrendering to something greater than I am to bring me the resources. And it's powerful. It is like truly in these moments that we spend where we're stressing, we're sad, we're angry because we don't know the solution. Why do we? That is just a human thing that we've been trained to do. And like, I need to know how everything is happening, how everything is planned out. And it's like, no, you don't. No, because this is an infinite universe. Infinite is infinite, which means it can happen in multiple different ways, come in multiple different forms, be received to you in lots of different ways. But when we're limiting ourselves to this has to happen exactly like this, oh, this isn't going to happen because how I can't see how it's going to happen. You are fully limiting yourself and you're not surrendering to the fact that you are an infinite divine being living in this experience to receive. You're not allowing yourself to receive, and you've been trained. You've been trained to do that, okay? Like growing up, you have been trained to block the receptors of receiving. So we want to hold compassion for ourselves in that. And when these situations come up, they are here to test your faith. They are here to test your faith of what you believe your experience is to be. Okay, I'm in lack of money and I need to do this. Am I going to believe that I can? Will I believe that I can? And will I believe that I'll receive it if it's meant for me? You know, these are things to like really honestly observe in your life. How many times are you stressing yourself out because you're thinking of lack? Because you want to know. Don't need to. It just happens. In every situation, you've been resilient so far. Here you are. Hello? You've gone through everything you've gone through and you stood right back up and here you are. What makes you think that that won't happen every time for you? It's about having that conviction and understanding the act of surrendering for yourself. I'm going to surrender these anxieties to you because I don't need them. I'm going to surrender this fear to you, angels. I don't need it because I trust.
That is so
There you
powerful.
go.
That is so powerful. And yeah, that's really what it's all about. Like, it's all about learning how to like let go and not control the outcome. And people will oftentimes hear surrender and sometimes think that means like don't try. Nah, we're saying like try as much as you can, but don't be attached to the outcome. You know, that's actually very important because like there's a saying that's like it's like when humans make plans, the universe laughs. Because like we can't fully say how things are gonna manifest. Like you could put in the action to manifest something, and that's cool. That's cool. That's good. Do that. But you cannot always control what's gonna happen as a result of you doing that action. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes there really is no action to take. Like there's you know how many times I just want to like do something and I'm just like I just it just feels wrong. Then I try to do it, it just doesn't work out. It's like, bro, stop. And I just chill, I relax and I see, you know what? I see why I just had to let go and not try to control stuff too much. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it could be confusing, like how I don't have money, but I like you could be so confused how you're supposed to not work at a job, but you don't have money. Cause that's how I was. I'm like, yo, like I get I got unemployment, but like, yo, what happens when this job run out? Like like it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, but I just knew deep down inside that this is part of my call. Like I'm being called right now. You know what I'm saying? This didn't happen for no random reason because before I got fired from that job, I was at a different job in PA. Right, I live in New Jersey, so I would drive to work. But on the way to work one day, I got into a crash with a freaking deer. It totaled the car. I couldn't go to that job anymore. But here's the thing: because I totaled the car, I couldn't get the unemployment. So I had to work at a new job for a little bit, get fired, now get the unemployment, and start working on my actual business. I could like I was seeing how things were laying out and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But I had no control over that. Like if that was up to me, my plan was to be still in PA working at that job, building up my money, and then when I finally feel ready, I'll put myself out there and stuff like that. Universe said, "Oh no, we're not gonna do that. we're not gonna do that." And like I said, I could I got like intuitively I understood I'm being called right now. You know what I'm saying? But logically, it's like, bro, you don't got no money, bro. You need a new job, bro. You can't pay them bills, bro. You got to get out your mom crib, bro. You know what I'm saying? But had I listened to all those thoughts and kept working at jobs, I would have never had the time to build myself up to where I am now, where I can actually sustain myself off what I do. You know what I'm saying? So with all that being said, it's really important to not control those outcomes, bro. Put in the work, put in the effort, but you cannot control how that effort manifests physically. You know how many times I made a video when I'm like, oh, this video's gonna be a freaking banger. John barely get any views. Then I make a video, right? I make a video that I'm like, oh, this some random cool stuff. This joint getting at 1,000 views, 2,000 views. What the heck? Like what? Like I didn't. Like it's so crazy because like I'll always put my effort full force in both videos. I definitely put all my effort into both videos. You know what I'm saying? So the effort was the same, but the outcome was still different. And that's cool because it actually helped me see some things like, okay, people like those kind of videos, not that kind of video. Okay, I could kind of understand that. Like it showed me something. So it's like, even though things don't always go how you want them, it's always trying to show you something. That's why, like, whenever you have an obstacle, it's not an obstacle, it's an opportunity. An opportunity to see something new. You know, if something is blocking you, why is it blocking you? Is it because you're not supposed to go there? Is it because there's a different way to do this? Is it to show you strength about how to overcome certain things? Whenever things pop up and it's like, oh, that's holding me back. Don't see it like that. See it like, this thing's popping up. How is it pushing me forward actually? Because even someone trying to hold you back is actually helping you move forward. Because imagine, right? Like imagine like so let's say you're at the beginning of your journey, right? And someone's trying to hold you back, right? That's better than being like all up inside your journey and you're just now getting held back. Because if you're at the beginning, right, and someone's holding you back, you have the time to actually learn the lesson of, okay, when I'm being held back, here's how I overcome that. If you just started doing stuff full force, right, just started getting held back, it could have slowed down your purpose and threw the whole entire like course off direction. Like here's an example, right? Let's say that I wanted to be like a certain kind of like influencer, right? But I got very popular until I get a brand deal. And then the brand deal says, oh, you can't talk about these things. If I haven't went through the lessons of being held down and learning how to overcome that, then I may be like, okay, I'll take the brand deal and stop talking about these things. But the thing is, if I stop talking about those things, my YouTube channel doesn't even do good anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you get held back way later in your journey, it can actually throw you off way more opposed to the beginning. So you should actually see where you're at right now as a good thing. Like if there's so much blocks right now, that's cool because you're at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? You're at the beginning of fulfilling that purpose, and it's like
What? You can't shoot.
it's all good, my guy. But like I was saying, when it comes to like these obstacles, right, it's good when you have them in the beginning because you learn how to let go and surrender and how to move through these things, right? So that way in the future it's all good. You just learn that, okay, let me not, because you know how many times where like I've wanted to do more and then me trying to do more messes up things even more. Like it's so crazy how when you just keep on trying to push and push and push, things could just keep on falling apart and falling apart and falling apart. But if you just sit back, relax, sip your little tea and stuff like that, things just form their own way. Like you're not always the best architect. I'm not going to lie. You know what I'm saying? You can't always see things from the eighth realm of reality where you have these creator beings or someone. You know what I'm saying? Like there's beings on other realms that are literally watching your whole entire journey, and they could see like why you have to go through this and through that. But you're thinking I got to do this and that. They're saying no, no, no. You got to do that and this. So with that being said, sometimes all you could do is just sit back and then let those forces work inside your life because your way would actually take you off track and you don't even fully realize that. So surrender is so important. That literally is like a key. The key, because you'll be like, oh, I put in all this work but it didn't work out. But there's a reason why it didn't work out. It's showing you something. There's something there that's trying to teach you something. There's always some kind of information. It's an opportunity to see that. Learn how to let go and surrender for a fact.
Mm-hmm. I think like to even tie into that is expectations. Like holding these expectations just like create failure. You know, like when we're like it has to happen like this or no, this is how it's supposed to go and it's like no, it's not. Like it is never in your control and when like we're able to fully release to that perspective, it really opens you up to sitting back, like you said, sipping some tea and just letting it unfold. Because the way that flow is, it's not going upstream. We're not going against the water. We are flowing with the water. And that's how the energy constantly is flowing here on Earth. right? Like it's not meant to be controlled. It's not meant to be manipulated. Like it will take you where you need to go if we trust. Faith, surrender. Like these words are very true. And when you find the definition for yourself, because, I don't know if some of you guys can relate to this, but growing up, the whole Jesus thing, the Bible, and like, have faith in him and all types of stuff, like that gives you an illusion. Like I couldn't even say God for the longest time because I was too busy taking the word God and putting it to Jesus. And I knew that didn't feel right to me. So I had to reprogram myself in the way I thought about what faith meant to me, what God meant to me, what surrender was, what trust was. And it's all about identifying that for your own personal self. We're not looking to copy somebody else's way of being. We're looking how that resonates for ourselves and for our journey. How do we want to surrender? How do we want to allow the energy to flow through our life effortlessly? Because it can be that way. Okay, like there doesn't have to be restrictions here, guys. Like it can literally be like, okay, well, I just lost that. I'm excited. What's next? Like when we look for the excitement of the next journey and change, they want me to bring this. And this is why we've been saying change and choice this whole entire time. Change is what holds you back from surrendering. If you cannot handle change or the thought of it, you're going to have a very hard time surrendering. Okay? We have to understand change is inevitable. Like the people who don't want to learn technology right now, you are going against change, and change will always be here. So who's going to be evolved and who's going to be having to evolve at some point? Because, honey, our currency is going to technology. Do you understand that? So if you're over there and you're like, I am going to refuse technology, I am not on it, I'm going to stay back here in the 60s. I don't care what it is, right? You are choosing not to evolve and expand and go with the natural flow of the universe. So you are now going upstream, trying to fight the waves, and you're constantly doing that. So what does your life then reflect? It reflects the upstream. Because you're telling the universe, I don't want to flow. I don't want to change. These are like big things to recognize. And sometimes we do it without like intentionally understanding it. But here we are. This is why awareness is being brought to you. Because in some way, shape, or form, you are probably doing this in your life right now. And you don't even know it. Like when we're judgmental about certain things. I don't want to do that. Well, maybe it's a way of evolving, honey. You don't know until you try. Like, don't just totally condemn something because you don't understand it. Okay, that's not how it works. Obviously, it's being put into your awareness for a certain reason. So even surrendering to the thought of like, okay, this is coming into my energy for a reason. That's also very important. Because if we're also surrendering, then we're also trusting what is coming into our path to see and to act upon. And that's like another part of surrender. The first thing is surrendering to, okay, things are going to happen. And then like there's a solution that comes by and you're just like, nah, I'm too lazy. I'm not going to do that. Or no, that doesn't seem right. No, you are deliberately denying the receiving.
And
it's interesting.
And that is so true. Like, people really need to understand like we could deep down inside you could feel when you should do something and when you shouldn't. Then the ego and the mind says, oh, no. Like like when I shouldn't do something, I've always felt it. And how many times have you said, damn, I shouldn't have done that? Because like deep down inside,
Mm-hmm.
like we could feel the flow of energy and how it's supposed to move. Like when you're acting where you're not supposed to be acting, you're going against the proper flow of energy. You clearly, because it always feels wrong. It literally does. And then the thing is, right, like with me, right, when I make YouTube videos, right, I'm actually very excited. So I'll get very excited, make a video, right? And then the excitement, it's like I still have energy, but I'm not like, oh yeah, buzzing, right? But then grind culture, right? What people tell you nowadays, you gotta grind. Grind culture would tell me keep on making a video. I make the second video, it's kind of butt now. You know what I'm saying? The energy is not there. It's not really that good. So it's like You gotta understand that, like for me, I had to understand when I felt that flow of energy. Hey, time to clock out for today, bro. Because I'm not about to force something. Just because society tells you. Society tells you so much that you need to grind, 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 grind. Let me tell you something right now. Them telling you to grind is like you trying to pick up a whole bunch of pennies when you could just pick up a diamond. You see what I'm saying? Like if you were to like, let's say you want to create something for the world, right? You don't gotta just grind with all these small creations or grind by working. You could just sit back, right? Make one big giant creation that's super valuable, and then just put it out, and then just let go, let it do its own entire thing. At that point, you're not picking all these pennies. You're just putting out a diamond in the world. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you gotta understand that the world, the universe was not supposed to be about fucking grind, 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 grind. Like, granted, right? The universe is always in a constant motion, but that does not mean that you have to be that way because understand that beyond the universe, right, you have source, which is just always simply just there observing. It's just stable. It's not actually like you have the active aspect and also just that observational aspect, you know? So, with that being said, you need to learn how to be the same way. Know when to act and when to just chill out and calm down, you know? You weren't meant to be active all the time. You weren't meant to grind all the time. Like people's body will tell them stop working and they keep on working. And then they wonder why their purpose never actually gets fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? It's because you're not listening. You know what I'm saying? You could have like let's say you're just overworking yourself, right? Because you think, oh, I need money. I can't live on my purpose. Imagine if you took a rest day, right? And then all that rest and you're getting all these good ideas. You know what I'm saying? And then you actually take action on those when it's time. You know what I'm saying? That would help you fulfill your purpose way more than just grinding every single day than having no energy and not getting those ideas. Because now you're just trapped inside that cycle. So when your body says, hey, yo, chill, you gotta chill. Because you may think that you doing all the work is beneficial, but really, if you just sat down, you would just literally realize, oh my God, I could try this, I could try that. Then, hey, you may go outside for a walk and then meet somebody who can help you with your purpose also. Like you never know. You never know. You never know why you have to stop acting sometimes, but you will always feel it that you have to like even if you may not know why you have to surrender, you'll know that if you do it, it's beneficial. You'll know that it's the time to do that. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes people don't want to do that because they're trying so much, but not seeing any results. But the thing is, right? There's oftentimes something inside your life that's going well. At least focus on that while you're surrendering. Like for me, right? When I wasn't making any money off my spiritual business, I was still getting views on YouTube. So I'm like, hey, at least my views are getting up. Hey, I got a subscriber today. I may not have had a client, but I had a subscriber. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and the thing is, imagine if I didn't focus on what's working. I would have been trying so hard to get a client on some desperate stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, please book with me. And it's like whole time I'm not even fully ready. Like that's why I had to build my abilities up. That's why things didn't manifest just like that. Cause I wasn't ready yet. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that was working, like YouTube, I was good for that. But for being like a psychic, for example, I wasn't ready for that. But if I just kept on going like, oh no, book with me, please, right? I could have got a client and then had a horrible session and now no one trusts me ever again. So surrendering was so important during those times. Learning how to just sit back and know that things are gonna work out for its highest good. Things are gonna work out how it's supposed to work out. You know what I'm saying? Like things in life are not random. Like back to the dream example. The dream is not as random as you think. You know what I'm saying? You just can't fully understand it right now. You know what I'm saying? So even though you can't always fully understand why you gotta surrender, it's still important to do that and to let go of society's mindset about you always gotta be working, always gotta be grinding, always gotta be doing something. No, you could put in effort towards something, but you also gotta know how to rest and recover your energy and learn how to just let things take place for themselves.
Mm, love that. I think there's one more thing before we end it and wrap it up here. Um, and I am being told about control of yourself. There is like this thing that we do and the way that we show up in front of people. Some may call it a mask, okay? But also like on your social media platforms, platforms. we are trying to control what people see of our light, and we're like limiting it, and we're trying to like put it in a what would it be called, like a, I guess your title. We're just trying to box it into
Or like a
something
category?
that it's not.
I put it in a certain
Yeah,
category? Yeah.
sure. We'll do that. But I feel like, and I still am working on this. I'm still working on the witch wound and stuff of being able to be seen, my craft and my light. Hence why we're doing this. This is a big step for me. And it's not that I don't have the wisdom, I don't have the power, I don't have the worthiness, but it's about being able to unapologetically shine that light. And it's one of the hardest things, because we're afraid of judgment. And we're like, okay, if I show this part of myself to somebody, like on the internet, they won't know about this side, Sometimes I go crazy, like I'll start giggling and doing all this like crazy stuff, and I'm just like a goofball. But I don't show that yet. I'm like, okay, here's my wisdom. This is what you receive, but there's so many more layers to us, but we're too busy controlling what is seen. So that's something I just wanted to share and also be vulnerable about, because it's also something that I'm working on. And that is also an act of surrendering. Okay? Because like surrendering to my light and allowing that to be seen, heard, acknowledged, and appreciated is all about surrendering. So, yeah. Corinne, let's go.
And let me add this one thing
Fear be
too.
seen. Yeah.
Let me add this one thing too, bro, about masculine and feminine energy, bro. We have both masculine and feminine energy, bro. So you only being active, active, active is you all up in your masculine and not inside your feminine of receiving and let things come to you, Like you gotta learn how to truly tap into that. And the thing is, right, you could actually always ask for signs too. Like you could always ask the universe, like, hey, like can you guys show me like what I should do right now? Can you guys show me why I should surrender? And then you may just go on Instagram one day and then you see like a certain quote. Or you go or you ask a question inside your head that a bird chirps. It just says yes, like chirp, yeah. You know what I'm saying? That happens a lot also. Like there's so many different signs. You may be like, You could be like, yo, should I do this? This one happens to me and Gabby, right? Where we just feel our heart like it's like it skips a beat. It's like a beat just taps your heart real quick, and it's like, whoa. Like there's signs literally everywhere, bro. You could always ask, but how open are you to receiving? We already know the numbers. We always see numbers, all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, you can start that right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like understanding how to like notice the signs in your life is very important, and learning how to just become receptive overall. Learning how to be inside that feminine, right? To just make things literally come to you. Like feminine energy is literally magnetic. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know about you, but I don't want to always have to just go out and do shit. Can shit come to me sometime? Can I bring this over here sometime? Because you could do that with your magnetism, with your feminine energy by simply just surrendering and letting it go. So I'll add that right there. Yes.
Boom. Oh my gosh. I appreciate you guys. I think that is honestly where we're going to wrap up. Just to let you know before we get into questions, because we're going to be taking questions in the chat and we'll expand further into, your own experience and what you need help guided towards or clarification. But just know that me and Jeannie also do services. And if there is anything that we can help you with, feel free to reach out to us through our social media, which is going to be on the screen here. Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you guys being here. This has been incredible. Really enjoyed this.
Yeah, this was super fun, yo.
But is there anything that we can answer?
Yeah, any questions, we definitely down.
Also, just to let you guys know, too, in the GFL Discord tomorrow, me and Aaliyah will be doing some readings for a group reading together. So that's going to be like super fire. And then I have not announced this one, but there is going to be another class coming up in April with Favi, and we will be talking about fairies, magic, the practice of the craft. So if you're interested in intentional magical work, we'll be doing that as well.
Dang, she got a whole lot for y'all, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. I am planning on I'm trying to get some classes in before I go to the beach, which, oh my God, the beach, the ocean has been calling me. I will be there the entire time I'm there, just connecting. I'm very excited because I haven't been to a beach since actually coming into my journey. So there's going to be a lot of powerful things to witness. Super excited.
Yeah, I love that for you, bro.
Question for both. How would you say getting on social media to content create has been also a spiritual journey to growth? Oh my gosh. I think, okay, the first thing that came into mind is comparison. Like when social media started, everybody was just trying to like paint this picture of themselves, and then people were getting upset because, wow, I'm going to compare myself. I think it's really like pushed me to find the beauty in myself, in my power, in my worth, and what I bring to the table, really diving deep into I am one of one and seeing that, oh wow, that person, I'm not jealous of them, they just inspire me. And I love the way that they're working there. I'm receiving their message and I'm seeing it from a love aspect now. It's not like a comparing aspect. And I don't know if like the masculine goes through that a lot, but the feminine definitely does. And it's like it just shatters you. And throughout your childhood, you didn't really have woman connection. Like I really truly feel now is the time for the divine feminine to come together, create sisterhood, and create that power together. But that never was a thing. Even when you had friends, it was like they were talking behind your back to other people. They were dissing you. They weren't being truly a good friend to you. And this is what we've had to grow up on, right? And it's like, okay, well, that person's comparing themselves to me and they're trying to make a competition. I guess that's what it is. Well, I've just learned there is no competition. There is no competition between me because I am my individual self and you can't compete with that. Just as I cannot compete with your individual self. You bring something different to the table like I do. So I think social media has really taught me that, and to get outside my comfort zone, to like really find love within myself on an outer level and an inner level, finding who I am.
I would say for me, and by the way, guys do go through the comparison stuff. Like with me, I would be like, yo, how is this person getting mad views, but my content is way saucier? I would dead ass think stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie. But one big thing for me was becoming comfortable with putting myself out there. Like not even my face and stuff like that, because like I started making content about like 4, 5 years ago. Which I wish I still had those videos on YouTube, but I deleted them. Anyway, when I when I first started, the face aspect was kind of a thing, but like it was really about the information. Like, yo, like I know some crazy things, but people don't always accept that. Like me, I like past life stuff, alien stuff, astral stuff. People always try to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I had to become comfortable with like being seen as like the weird guy on YouTube or on Instagram or on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? That was a really, really, really huge thing, which also made me like trust my information more because that was like, if I am gonna come out here and say all these crazy things, I better actually believe this stuff. And like I would have certain doubts come up when even think about making a video, which made me learn more about what I was even talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order to make videos, I gotta know what I'm really talking about. So it's like sometimes I'll have a video idea, and then like, hold up, I want to do that, but let me learn a little bit more real quick. Or even while making the video, I'll teach myself. Like, hold up. That was facts right there. I actually did that today inside of my Patreon, bro. I made a video talking about like the mind and interconnectedness, right? Which I already do like a lot about. But then like there's this Arcturian thing, right, that deals with being able to like essentially Arcturians have this power that if they believe in themselves, they can essentially do anything. And that's because they understand that their mind, what people call their mind, is just a group of information. It's just a group of information that they tend to hold on to. But there's information all around you. So if you become the whole entire universe, right, you can access any information that will tell you how to actually do something. And like I already understood that, but like what I said, the way I said it in the video, I'm like, hold the fuck up. Let me start doing that more, yo. So like I even teach myself while trying to teach other people. I feel like content creation has been a huge part because people oftentimes think that people think that the spiritual journey oftentimes it's like so like just like yo meditation, all that other stuff, but like doing business, making content, that's spiritual too because you learn a lot about yourself and about your own soul and what kind of person you actually are and how you want to actually express yourself on the internet. So yeah, that's a big thing for me. Learning how to actually like put myself out there and be comfortable with the things that I actually know and want to share with the world.
Oh, I love that. This is awesome because I feel like more people are just even being called to social media because they like these jobs aren't for us and like they know that. Like everyone's feeling that. So this is so powerful because we are like the wave that will pave the path for the others to stand in it as well. But
Yeah, that's definitely facts. You know what I'm saying? If there's any other questions y'all got, you know what I'm saying? You know we got y'all. Fishowski.
thank you, Nix. I appreciate that. Glad that you came.
Also, Nick, your picture is dope as shit. You got this dope ass picture, bro. I love this, John, yo. I appreciate you.
Rainwater might have one. It's like just looking at the chat, like, hmm. Mm-mm. Getting answered because I totally forgot it. Oh, yikes. I know that No Longer Human had one, and it was talking about love earlier. Kind of wanted to find it because it was juicy.
Let me try to
Um,
find that too, but yo, Nix, these pictures are hard. Holy shit. Holy hell. Where'd you find that at Google? But yeah, I did see questions earlier. I'm gonna scroll up in the chat as well, Ski.
okay. What if you do not understand the concept of love? How do you come to a deeper understanding? And I love this. I love it, love it, love it, because I always feel like it starts within the house of yourself. Like, and that's even like I'll be doing some inner child classes as well, because I think that's very important. Like, if the inner child doesn't feel loved, if they never felt like true love, then it's kind of hard to navigate that. So, like, even talking to that younger version of yourself and kind of coaching yourself into what feels good for you when it comes to love. Like, it doesn't have to reflect what I think, your friend thinks. What do you perceive love to be? And what do you want it to be? And it could be anything you want, right? Like, I feel like we limitate love. Oh, this person has only showed me they can love me to this degree. Okay, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that's all the love that you deserve. You can find then another part of love within somebody else. Platonic relationship. Like, I feel like we've totally cut ourselves off from experiencing love in lots of different ways. You know, we'll have a relationship and then we're like, okay, well, that's my love. And it's like, no, because this other, like Genie, you know, I'm in a relationship, right? 8 years. He shows me love, and Genie shows me love in a different way. You know, like I can sit here and have conversations where Genie is able to understand some of the things that I'm saying, and that is love to me. You know, like there's different ways of loving, but people don't, we don't look at that. We're actually kind of scared to experience that. And again, that comes back to the house. Like, I even had to work on what I perceived love to be, what I was accepting of what love I was going to bring in. Like, I know conditioning wise, For me personally, like sex was love. That's where I was conditioned. And I had to go through a lot of different experiences that were very intense to get to the part where I am now of knowing sex is not like it is a form of love, but it's not your dependent love. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, if I'm not getting this type of attention, then I am not worthy, I'm not good enough, and I'm not getting love. Let me go find it somewhere else. And it was just a toxic cycle. But like we have to become aware of like the healthy ways of love and how are we going to interpret that and put action into that.
And I'll add to that too. Yeah, that's actually really important. And I'll say this. To understand love more, also just practice feeling it for yourself. Like a lot of us have experienced like some kind of love emotion before. You could say love and kind of get a feeling of it, right? So like try to bring that feeling on board because I know with me, right? Like I wouldn't make it an avid point of just feeling what love, just saying love and just feeling it, right? That's what unconditional love is. Feeling love with no conditions. You can just feel it for no reason, right? You can actually really do that. So when you practice bringing it on board, it becomes like really efficient in the sense that you will not go out inside the outside reality and then sacrifice true love for false love. Like with me, right? I would be around people, right? And I thought it was love because I didn't practice feeling actual love. Now that I practice feeling actual love, I can interact with a person. And if it don't feel like that love energy, I know this isn't true love. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, taking the time out to just feel love inside of yourself is really important because you actually get attuned to that vibration. And you actually learn that, hold up, I could bring this on anytime. I don't need a certain person. I don't need compliments. I don't need views on social media. I don't need any of these things. I just got to sit down and just feel it. You just like, love. I could dead ass feel it, bro. Like it feels good. Like, and it may be hard to feel at first if you're not used to feeling it, but if you keep on practicing more and more and more, it'll just become an open thing. Like literally, it wasn't always easy for me. I was like, it actually kind of felt kind of squirmy, like love. But then it's like, nah, like as I become more open, I tried more and more every day because I already saw in my life where I was sacrificing true love for false love. So like at this point, I know I gotta fully find out what this truly is. So I kept on doing that, feeling that love over and over again. And it got stronger day by day by day. Even if it's just 0.1%, that's still getting stronger. Now I'm at a point where I just feel it. It's just like, yo, like, if I feel it for long enough, I actually dead ass start to tear up. I swear. So it's like, yeah, you could really do that. Just bring on love at all times to understand what it really means and how it feels inside of yourself. That's really important.
Hmm. Bringing emotion forth. But yes, I agree. I never exactly found it as necessary. Love or emotion in general. And I do believe in and of itself was an issue. So my next question is visualization as well as auditory and emotional imagery, the main component of discovery. I'm interested in your opinion.
Do you mean like the is it the main component of discovery to the emotion? Because if so, that actually is very important because bringing all that emotion, if you just think about like a past memory or like you just visualize what could bring you love, it becomes easier to bring all that love. But I'm gonna wait till you reply back to let me know what you fully meant by the main component of discovery. Because if you mean towards finding that love, it's just accessing emotion. It is a very big part of it for a fact. Especially when you can't just bring on the raw
Mhm.
emotion, the visual is really good to like bring it on for you. Like I'll imagine my mom sometimes I just feel a whole bunch of love. That's actually how I started. I meant personal spiritual growth. I was not born with that skill. Oh, so as far as that, I'll say it's not the main component. It is a component. It can help you, but you don't have to visualize for spiritual achievement. Like here's an example, right? Some people are very clairvoyant. They see things, right? But you could be claircognizant. You just instantly know things. You haven't seen not one image. You haven't seen not one spirit, but you just know things instantly. So it's not the main component. No, it can be helpful, but it's not the main component to spiritual growth. Nah.
I also want to add something. They're bringing my attention to, I do not know how to bringing emotion forth. They want to say that's because you don't feel secure. Okay, like when we don't even feel secure in the outside world and not even in our inner world, it's like really hard to be able to bring these emotions forward because we have to hold compassion, empathy. We have to witness these emotions and be vulnerable in them. And if we don't feel that within our house, we're just suppressing. So, I would say okay, they're giving me affirmations. I feel like for your root chakra, they're showing me your root chakra. Working on that, like I am safe, affirmations like that is gonna really help you bring those emotions up. It's gonna take some time, but it's actually very normal. Especially I find in the masculine, that is very normal because most of the times you guys are taught to suppress because you're a pussy or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's actually really toxic. Like, the masculine lineage is really fucked, but so is the female. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not, but like, when it comes to emotions, how long has the masculine actually been hiding how they feel? And they feel as if they can't be nurtured or shine in that. So understand that what you are going through right now is not just single-handedly for you. This is also your ancestral line, and I'm getting chills right now. They're here, honey. They are here and they are yapping. So like like we really want to make it clear that this is going to be a journey that you're not alone in. And you're here for exact divine reason to learn how to expand in this. And I almost guarantee when these emotions start to come up, I wasn't crying for a couple years straight. I actually cut off my crying and I had to talk myself into crying again. It's okay. Let it out. And even when I would feel it and I would just like retract in it, I would have to keep talking to myself to be able to get these emotions out. And then now I can just cry. If I feel like crying, I'm crying. So you really have to work with yourself on the emotional standpoint for yourself and understand that this isn't just you. This is not who you created. This is back in time and you're being put with the responsibility now of breaking those habits. So just have patience.
I mean, I could definitely add to that, bro. That's what it was for me. Like, you get told not to feel. I thought that I really couldn't feel before, but like, then I had to realize, like, hold up, bro. If I think back to like when I was like 3 years old, I have this memory of being yelled at. I could feel that. I learned like, hold up. When I was 6 years old, I had this crazy love memory. I could feel that. So it's like we like using your own memory. It's like you've experienced stuff at times. You could always just think back to those things, and just bring the feeling back all in those ways. But oftentimes we're not open to truly feeling things, which is why like we just like, oh, how do I bring on feeling? Because we're not really taught that. And then also somebody asked like a while ago about soul contracts. They said, how do you deal with soul contracts? So if you're still here and can provide a bit more context, go ahead. But if you mean in the sense people who are like maybe like not benefiting your journey that much or like are causing you to stay low vibe, you would deal with that in a few ways, right? So one, try to recognize what this contract like even is, right? Like if you're dealing with a certain kind of person, right, and they're making you like feel bad, right? That could be a part of the contract. You may realize, holy crap, the contract is that this person comes down here and they teach me, if they treat me bad, which will teach me self love. Then once you find that self love, you see what I'm saying? So like recognizing why people are in your life and what they're showing you is how you kind of deal with the contract. Because you'll just kind of naturally be like, oh, like for example, with my ex, right? My ex was teaching me how to love myself. You know what I'm saying? Once I learned that lesson, it's done. You know. You could also like try to like do like cord cutting and like you could like let's say there's a contract that you have that you want to end. You could imagine yourself ripping it up and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That is a thing. And sometimes like you ripping up the contract was actually low key in the contract. It's like there could be a contract where it's like, oh, you get to a point where you're so tired where you say, oh yeah, I'm done. And you just rip it up real quick. You know what I'm saying? So there's there's multiple ways to deal with contracts. Sometimes it's about also understanding that like if you have a contract with a certain person, it could be because like past life karma and like you guys are both trying to heal a connection. So like you may think that a person's like, oh, like they're so bad, but that's partially because of your perception of them. but they feel the same way about you because their perception of you, and you guys could both teach each other like, holy crap, like we should not interact with each other in these ways. So some soul contracts aren't even fully meant to end like that, but you'll think that they are when you don't fully learn the lesson. But when you actually ask, hold up, what could I learn from this? That's when you start knowing what to actually do to fulfill that contract. So that's one way to deal with them, or a few ways, I should say.
I believe that's going to be the vibe for today. Wrapping it up.
144 right
I need to
now.
get some grounding. Mm-hmm. Get some Mother Nature time. I have a couple other meetings after this, so but I appreciate everyone here for staying. I hope that our wisdom was able to illuminate your wisdom within you. And this gave you power to create your reality, the life that you want to live. That's the goal here.
Yeah, thank you for showing up, man. We love all of you, bro. We appreciate you guys coming to the class. We appreciate all the comments and the support, bro. I definitely look forward to talking to you guys again sometime soon. So look out for your boy. And also, of course,
Mm-hmm.
tune in to my girl, the Universe's Child's class tomorrow with Aaliyah. And then the one in April with Fabi is going to be lit. Tune into that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, see you guys. Have a beautiful day. Bye.
Bye, everyone.